What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another amazing Naruto story. What if Naruto was born a girl? And raised by Deadpool? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description box to original creator of this beautiful creation. Present day Japan. It was the week of Thanksgiving and Deadpool had no one to hang out with. He had annoyed the Avenger to the point that even Loki wanted to seal him away in another dimension. Spidey was busy with that Gwen chick he has been chasing after for so long and told Deadpool he couldn't hang out this time. So his search for someone to bug lead him to Japan. He was called in by the Yakuza to handle a problem for them. To his surprise he was hired by the Yoshida clan to handle a suitor that the head of the clan disapproves of his daughter dating. Outside of the Yoshida clan home, Deadpool looks around and narrows his eyes. He saw several armed men walking around the garden and two were on their way towards him. So bonehead, why do you think the Yakuza called for your crazy ass? His brain had asked him. I have no clue. What these taut guys are not able to handle. Deadpool just smirks to himself and watches the two armed guards come his way. Deadpool-san, said guard number 1. This way, said guard number 2. Why thank you Tweedledee and Tweedledum, said Deadpool. Both men just raised an eyebrow to what he said. Deadpool just smiled and followed both men through the garden into the house and past two sliding doors. Wait here Deadpool-san, said guard number 2. Sure thing Shirley, said Deadpool. The man walked away shaking his head. Several minutes later the man returned and looked at the other guard and nodded his head. The Oyabun will see you now, said guard number 1. He followed the two men down a very long hallway. You know, if you put an escalator ramp in this hallway it would make people move faster, said Deadpool. The men just ignored him. They came to the end of the hallway and opened the sliding door and a very pale-skinned woman with black hair stood before the men. She was wearing a black kimono with beautiful white lotus blossoms sewn onto the silk fabric with small red and pink butterflies floating above the flowers. She looked at the masked man before her oddly and softly smiled. Welcome to the Yoshida clan home, she said as she bowed to Deadpool. Why thank you pretty porcelain doll lady, said Deadpool. She looked up at him with an raised eyebrow. He was an odd person indeed. So where is the boss man? I have some business with him, said Deadpool. My father is right over here, said the woman. Ooh, my lucky day, I get to meet a Yakuza princess, said Deadpool as he grinned from ear to ear. She stepped aside and allowed him to enter the room. What does my father want with this odd man? She thought to herself. Oh, Oyabun, it's been ages since I've last saw you, said Deadpool as he walked over to the large oak wood desk where the gray hair man sat. Deadpool-san, it has been a while since I've last was in need of your services. Well, your message sparked my curiosity and had to find out what your men could not handle, said Deadpool. Oyabun sighed and pulled out a yellow envelope and slid it across the oak desk. Ooh, pictures, oh joy, said Deadpool. He quickly opened the large yellow envelope and pulled out a black and white photo. His eyebrow rose and he looked at the old man across from him. So, how much are you paying his head? Said Deadpool. $1 million American. I'm sure you would take the job, for no one wanted to go up against this beast, said Oyabun. Well, normally I would agree. But, Deadpool trailed off. But what? Asked Oyabun. The room was silent for a couple of seconds before anyone spoke again. But, you see Wolvie, he's a buddy of mine and I told him I wouldn't try to kill him for a while, said Deadpool. Why the hell not? Yelled the Oyabun. Well, he did me a huge favor and finding where my good buddy Francis's boss was hiding at, said Deadpool. I really do like the picture you took of him. Makes him look sexy from this angle. His left side is his best side, giggled Deadpool. Oyabun held up his hand and snapped his fingers and 10 armed guards appeared out of nowhere. They had mini machine guns pointed at the masked man. Really now? Come on now Oyabun old buddy. We can work this out like two grown adults, said Deadpool. The old man just glared at Deadpool. I'm afraid now Deadpool-san. I'm unable to allow you to leave here alive, in fear of you blabbing to Logan about the hit on his head, said Oyabun. Well then old man, you have one. No wait, you have two problems now, said Deadpool. What are those? Asked Oyabun. Well, your first mistake was thinking you could kill me with those toy guns there. Your second mistake was pissing me off, said Deadpool as he stood up and pulling out his two guns and firing at the 10 men, killing them at once. Oyabun fall back out of his chair. He knew Deadpool was one that was hard to deal with, but he didn't think the crazy man would attack his employer. But, boy was he wrong. The next time you want a job done, call some other asshat to do it. I'm not working for a two-bit jerk like you, said Deadpool. He turned around and walked to the door to be greeted by several more guards. You're like cockroaches coming out of the woodwork, said Deadpool. Yells came from behind Deadpool. Kill him, yelled Oyabun. Hi, the men answered back as they pointed their guns at Deadpool. You know this could happen in two ways. 1. You let me go peacefully and you never hear from me again. 2. I kill everyone in this place, said Deadpool. Without anyone noticing, he drew his swords and began slicing and dicing the men before him. All was here were screams and guns going off and shooting up the walls. It took about 20 minutes for Deadpool to get out of the place and run into a nearby forest. Damn it, that hurt, said Deadpool as he looked at the hole in his right arm and left leg. You know, you could have went more into detail into my fight scene, said Deadpool, breaking the fourth wall. He began to wonder though the forest as his body began to heal itself. He came across a very old stone path. He looked around and looked up to be looking at someone. Ooh, off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz, Deadpool sang as he skipped down the old path. He came up to an old shrine. It had golden foxes sitting on each side of the staircase. He rose an eyebrow to this and slowly walked up the stairs. In front of him were two sliding doors. He slowly opened the doors. He looked in. Hello, Wizard of Oz, are you here? Asked Deadpool. No, there isn't a wizard here, sir, came a young woman's voice. The young woman walked into the light from the shadows. I am the priestess of this shrine of the Kyūbi no Kitsune. The what now? Asked Deadpool with an puzzled expression on his masked face. The great fox god. Many call him a demon, but he is a great fox spirit, said the priestess. Come and I'll show his scroll and some of his story. Deadpool followed behind the young woman and looking around as candles came to life on each side of the wall in the long hallway. They came to the end of the hallway to another room with a large window facing the green lush forest. The priestess stopped before a large table that had a golden racks on each side to rest the open scroll in. She picked up the large scroll on the table and began unrolling it and placing both ends on each rack. Come and see. The Kyūbi no Kitsune has been also known as Kyūbi no Yoko as well. He is a large fox god that has the power in just one of his 9 tails to distort a mountain and start typhoon and wipe out whole villages. He is pure raw energy. His fur is blood red with blood red eyes and black tips on his ears, tails, and paws. He mostly lives very peacefully in the forest, protecting the creatures that live within it. But legend goes one night over 1,000 years ago he vanished. Many believe someone had summoned him and enslaved or trapped him, for no one has seen him running in this forest the 1,000 years that has passed. Yes, we have seen other foxes with 2 or 4 tails, but none as powerful as the Kyūbi, said the priestess. Wow, that is a fun and sad story. But what is those funny looking symbols around that circle? Asked Deadpool. Some say a chosen one would come one day and with his blood he would be able to call back the Kyūbi, said the priestess. So does it take a lot of blood, just a little bit? Asked Deadpool. Just a little. I was told one just bit their thumb on their dominant hand and dropped the blood into the circle. She told him. So you are going to really give it a try, bonehead? Asked his brain. Shut up, I figure why the hell not? We have nothing to lose, and if I'm able to call back this fox it would make a badass Christmas card for this year for everyone. Just picture it, me riding on top of a giant fox, said Deadpool in his head to his brain. Yeah, bonehead, you have a go point and it would be epic, said his brain. Deadpool, being Deadpool, pulled off his glove on his right hand and bit his thumb and squeezed blood out of it. Several drops fell onto the scroll as it began to glow. Elsewhere in a whole nother world, young girl with bright sunshine blonde hair in twin pigtails and electronic blue eyes and a orange ripped t-shirt and old ripped blue shorts with sneakers on ran from an angry mob. Get back here, you demon brat, yelled a woman from the mob. They threw rocks and other things as the girl, tears streams down her cheeks. Why are you doing this to me? I have never done anything to you, cried the child. It's your fault, our loved ones died 5 years ago, yelled a man this time. I've never hurt anyone, the child cried out. She ran around the corner losing the mob for just a few seconds and saw an alleyway and hid behind a couple of trash cans. She closed her eyes and prayed to Kami that they would run past her or that maybe someone would come and save her. Sadly, her prayers went unanswered, for one of the men from the mob walked into the alleyway and began knocking over the trash cans. "I found the demon beast," yelled the man. The mob quickly came running into the alleyway. They began throwing things at the small girl and yelling and screaming at her. Just then 2 women with a pig was walking down a street nearby. "Thank you, my lady. I really did miss my mom, and it was good to see my family again after all this time," said the women with black hair that was cut in a bob style. "Don't worry about it, Shizune. It was good seeing them all as well. I was able to pick up a few things from my family home and a contract scroll that my uncle had. Maybe I can sell it or find someone worthy of it," said the blonde hair woman. Just as they rounded the corner, they heard the screams from a child in distress, as well as hearing adults yelling horrible things. They stopped and looked around the corner to the alleyway and saw about 10 adults beating on a small blonde hair girl. "What in the name of Kami is going on here?" asked the blonde hair woman. A man turned and faced her. He looked into her deep chocolate brown eyes and saw her long blonde hair in 2 low pigtails and a purple diamond upon her forehead. His jaw hung open. "Lady Tsunade, we are just beating the demon brat. What the hell gives you the right to decide if a child is a demon or not?" yelled Tsunade. A woman spoke up now. "She is the reason our family and friends died 5 years ago during the Kyūbi attack," said the stupid woman. By now Tsunade had enough of this bullshit and pulled up the sleeve of her green kimono top and slammed her fist into the ground. The sheer force of the punch made the ground shake and break apart, knocking all the people in the mob to the ground. Shizune, putting down her pet pig, ran over to the girl. Bending down, she took her in her arms as Tsunade walked over to them. The small girl opened her eyes, looking at her saviors. They saw her electric blue eyes. "Thank you for saving me, kind ladies," she softly said as she passed out once more from the pain inflicted on her. Tsunade looked down on the small girl's face. She had 3 whisker birthmarks on each cheek on her face, along with those eyes and golden hair. She tightened her fist as she turned around and looked at the mob once more. "This child is innocent and you bastards blame her for crimes she never committed. For 5 years ago that child was just born. You tell me, how can an infant kill so many people you claim she did? Last I knew 5 years ago the Kyūbi no Yoko attacked this village and killed hundreds of people. It was not a child that did it," said Tsunade. "That child is the Kyūbi. The civilian council told us that the beast took over the child's body and is pretending to be human," said the same foolish woman. Just then the 3rd Hokage and his Anbu appeared. "Well, thank you for the confession on the corporates that gave level S classified information out so freely," said the 3rd Hokage. The mob turned around and paled. They knew after this stupid woman opened her big mouth their fate was sealed. Just as the 3rd was walking up to Tsunade and Shizune, a bright red light engulfed them and they disappeared in a large poof of smoke, leaving no trace of them. The same stupid woman yelled, "See, I told you the demon child spirited them away to the demon world." Before she could say anything else, Inu of the Anbu punched the women in the mouth. "Lord 3rd, it appears someone had summoned them away," said Inu. "Yes, Inu. I want my best seal experts to find a way to summon them back, or who had done the summoning," said the 3rd Hokage. "What of those fools there?" asked Inu. "Take them to Ibki and Anko for interrogation and then have him executed afterwards," said the 3rd Hokage. He looked at the spot that the 3 were once at along with their pig. He sighed and looked up into the sky. "Wherever you might have been summoned to Naruto, please be safe. Please, Tsunade, in the name of Kami, protect that child. Protect her and care for her. For I had failed her here," thought the 3rd Hokage. Back in present-day Japan, Tsunade and Shizune hit the hardwood floor hard, knocking the wind out of them. But Shizune made sure not to let go of the small girl. When Tsunade went to sit up, their pet pig fell onto her lap. Rubbing her backside, she looked around the candle-light room and saw 2 people standing next to a table. One was a young woman dressed as a priestess. Another dressed in a black and red bodysuit with matching mask. "Where in the world are we?" asked Tsunade. Shizune had laid the small girl on the ground and went to work healing her. She gasped as she lifted her shirt and saw how malnourished the girl was. "My lady, we have to get some fluids into her soon," said Shizune. Tsunade forgot about the other for that moment and pulled out a scroll and unrolled it and pushed a little chakra into it. Several medical bags popped out and Shizune went to work pulling out what she needed. To answer your question, miss. You are at the shrine of the Kyūbi no Kitsune in Kyoto, Japan, said the priestess. Turning around, Tsunade looked at the young woman and just blinked her eyes. You said we are in Kyoto, Japan? How is this? We were just in the Hidden Leaf Village, said Tsunade. Well, lady, you're not in Kansas anymore, said Deadpool. The priestess calmly cleared her throat. This person next to me put his blood into the summoning circle on that scroll on the table. Yeah, I wanted to see if I could call this so-called fox god back to this world, said Deadpool with his arms crossed behind his head. Tsunade just looked between the two people. Well, it appears you have called back the Kyūbi no Kitsune to his home, said the priestess as she walked over to the young woman in the black kimono and black bobbed hair. The small girl there has the Kyūbi sealed within her. But it appears the Kyūbi sleeps at this time, said the priestess as she kneels down next to Shizune to check on the state the little girl is in. You're telling me that buffoon in the red and black bodysuit summoned us? Asked Tsunade. Who are you calling buffoon, big boobs? Asked Deadpool. It appears she is calling you that, moron, said his brain. You shut up, I don't have any time for you, lip, said Deadpool. All the women look over at him. What, doesn't everyone fight with their brains? Asked Deadpool. Dear Cammy, we are screwed, said Tsunade. Just then several of Oyabun men come flying through the window. 3 dressed as ninjas, wearing all black with their face covered. Deadpool swings around and pulls out his swords. Is it my birthday or something? Oyabun gifted me a couple of ninjas and his little hitmen, said Deadpool. Tsunade stood up as a kunai fell from her sleeve. She scuffed at the 3 so-called ninjas. Those are ninjas? They appeared to be running around in the pajamas, said Tsunade as she got ready to fight. You know, boobies, I think we're going to have a beautiful friendship after this, said Deadpool. One of the ninjas went at Tsunade with a short blade sword. She blocked his attack with her kunai. Lady, just give up. We are after that fool there, said the ninja. If you're after him, why attack me? Asked Tsunade. Because you drew a weapon, said the ninja. Just then another kunai deeps into her other hand. That is a stupid reason to attack others, said Tsunade. She swung her other arm at the ninja and stabbed him in the neck. She quickly raised her left leg up and kicked him in the stomach. He flew back out the window. Deadpool was hauled off the hitmen as the priestess was fighting the other 2 ninjas, trying to keep them away from the girl and Shizune. Tsunade threw the 2 kunai in her hands at the 2 ninjas, hitting one in the back of the skull and the other in the right shoulder, just as the priestess did a roundhouse kick to the injured ninja. The man flew out the window and hit the large tree in front of it, being knocked out. Deadpool swung his swords at the man to his left and cut off his hands. The man began screaming bloody murder. Annoyed with his cry, Deadpool quickly swung his sword, slicing off the man's head. The other hitmen paled and turned to run away when Tsunade threw another kunai at the base of the man's skull, killing him. What in the hell was that? Asked Tsunade. Just some men that work for Oyabun, the head of one of the Yakuza here in Japan, said Deadpool. Why is the Yakuza after you? Asked Tsunade. Deadpool smiled and pulled out the yellow envelope and took out a photo and showed it to the women before him. Well, you see, they want me to kill this man. I can't kill Logan, for I promise I wouldn't as well. He gave me the best gift a couple of months ago. But, besides the fact, Oyabun's daughter has been seen going on dates with him. The old man is pissed about it, for she is to marry into another Yakuza family to bring in more power to the old man. With her dating my old buddy here is messing up his plans, said Deadpool. So why hire you? He looks to have trained and skilled men, said Tsunade as she trailed off. Well, you see, boobies, when you want a job done and your men are too chicken to do it, you call me. I'm the merc with the mouth. I'm Deadpool. Also the only crazy bastards out there to take any job and go after anyone. I have 100% kill rate. Well, okay, maybe 90%. For everyone is trying to get me to kill my friends, said Deadpool. Stop calling me boobies. My name is Tsunade and I am one of the 3 legendary Sannin. The young woman that is treating the girl is Shizune. Well, it is nice to meet you, boo. I mean Tsunade, and you too, Shizune. But who's the kid? Said Deadpool. I don't know. We came across her being beaten by a group of adults, said Tsunade as she looked back to the girl. What the hell? Yelled Deadpool. Let me at those bastards. They wouldn't be breathing after I'm done with them. Well, you summoned her. We got caught in the summoning. The last thing I heard the third Hokage say was he was going to have them executed," said Tsunade. Deadpool walked over to the kid and saw she was healing quickly like himself. Her minor cuts closed on their own, as Shizune was working on the larger cut on her side. "Well, this kid has some quick working healing powers. Maybe I should drop this kid off with old baldy Professor X," said Deadpool. Just then the girl opened her eyes. She slowly went to sit up. "Hey mister, do you have anything to eat?" asked the little girl. "Sure kid." Taking off his Hello Kitty backpack, Deadpool unzipped it and pulled out a bag of cheese puffs and a bottle of water. "Here kid, have some cheese puffs. But maybe first drink some water," said Deadpool as he opened the bottle for the kid. The little girl nodded her head and took the bottle in both hands, began drinking it down quickly. She finished the bottle within seconds. "Thank you mister, I didn't know how thirsty I was." The girl gave him a big foxy grin. "Well kid, eat some of these puffs and after they're done patching you up we'll get you some new cloths and something better to eat," said Deadpool. "Hey kid, what's your name?" "It's Naruto." "Naruto Uzumaki," she said before shoving in a handful of cheese puffs in her mouth. Both Tsunade and Shizune gasped. Naruto just looked at them like they were weird. "Tell me Naruto, do you know anything about your parents?" asked Tsunade. The girl shook her head as she ate. "Well, maybe when you're older I will help you figure out who they are," said Tsunade. "Okay, thank you lady," said Naruto. She just smiled as she returned to her snack. Just then the priestess spoke up. "Would you three please protect the young master there? She is very special to be holding Kyūbi inside of her." As she spoke she began to turn into a silver fox with 3 tails swaying behind her. "I know it's a lot to ask of you three. Please do not fear me. I will help with money to raise the child," said the priestess fox. "Sure, but first could I get a picture with you? It would make one hell of a Christmas card," said Deadpool. The young priestess fox blushed and smiled. "I guess it would be fine. Anyways, everyone would believe I was photoshopped anyways." Like the true big kid he was, Deadpool pulled out his cell phone and wrapped arm around the young fox and took several pictures. "Thank you so much," said Deadpool. "I will be coming by once a month to make sure she is alright and has all she needs. As well to drop off more money. Think of it as child support for raising her," said the priestess fox. "I don't mind, I like kids. Also it would give me a couple new roommates. My last one I had to ship her off to the old people's home," said Deadpool. "If we're going to live with you Buster, there will be some ground rules and you will obey them or I'll make you wish you were never born," said Tsunade. "Haha, nice try. I have some villain try that once a week along with the heroes after I annoy them or break cap," said Deadpool. "But we better get going before Oyabun sends more of his little friends after me," said Deadpool. "Before you go, here, take this." A silver briefcase appeared before the young fox. "I used some fox magic and made you 3 passports, birth certificate, driver licenses. So no one will question you. For I know our masked friend here is an American. So everything will say New York on it," said the fox priestess. "Wow, lucky guess. How did you know I was crashing in New York right now?" asked Deadpool. "Because of your New York City bus pass," said the fox priestess, as she pointed with her paw to the bus pass that was laying on the ground. Deadpool quickly picked it up and walked over to Naruto. "How about a pigback ride, kiddo?" "Sure, Deadpool-san," said Naruto as she stood up and climbed onto Deadpool's back. The small girl giggled as she wrapped her arms around his neck, still holding onto the bag of cheese puffs. The young fox priestess bowed her head. "Thank you. May Kami guide you safely." Before anyone could say anything, the fox priestess vanished in silver flames. Naruto looked at everyone and smiled. "So are you my family now?" Tsunade and Shizune both held a soft smile. "I guess so kid. Kami has sent us to you to watch over you till we are able to return back home," said Tsunade. "Well kiddo, let's get going. I can feel your tummy rumbling and oddly enough I'm a little hungry myself," said Deadpool. "Could we get some ramen?" asked Naruto. "Don't think so Gaki. You need something that is better for you and ramen isn't that healthy," said Tsunade. "Ah, come on boo. Tsunade, let the kid have something good and after we return back to New York you can force all the healthy food to her throat," said Deadpool. Tsunade glared at him. They made their way back to town and found a few shops where they bought Naruto some new cloths and get some different outfits as well. Then went and found a small little ramen stand. After eating, Deadpool found his good old buddy. "Logan," yelled Deadpool. The feral-looking man, turned to see the small group heading his way. He had an annoyed look on his face. "What do you want, bub?" asked Logan. "Oh, nothing. I figure I let you know Oyabun tried to hire me to take you out. I guess he isn't too happy with you right now," said Deadpool. Logan raised his eyebrow and looked at the red and black clad man. "So, he really wants me dead?" asked Logan. "Yuppers, I guess you should have known better than date a Yakuza princess." "But, she is hot though," laughed Deadpool. Naruto was standing next to Deadpool. She had on a orange kimono with a yellow obi. Her hair in 2 high pigtails. She held onto his leg for dear life. She looked up at the feral man. Logan looked down and saw the child. "When in the hell did you have a kid?" asked Logan. With a cocktail smile and raising his eyebrows a little, Deadpool spoke. "Today. Who the hell gave you a kid?" asked Logan, still very confused. "A 3-tailed fox priestess," said Deadpool as he pulled out his cell phone and showed Logan the photos. "We don't have time for this, you moron. We need to leave this place quick before your friends show up and hurt the Gaki," said Tsunade as she crossed her arms under his and looked pissed off at the 2 men. Logan looks at the blonde hair woman and the black hair woman standing behind Deadpool. Clearing his throat, Logan spoke. "Well, bub, I'm heading back to the States anyways." "Well, that's great. I have a plane parked on a private airstrip outside of town," said Deadpool. "When did you get a plane?" asked Logan. "Oh, it was a gift from Fury," said Deadpool. "A plane?" asked Naruto. "What is that?" The 2 men looked at the little girl. "It helps you fly in the air over the ocean," said Deadpool. Both Tsunade and Shizune exchanged looks. This caught Logan's attention. "I have never flown before," said Naruto. "Well, kid, today is your lucky day," said Deadpool. "So, Wolvie, you going need ride back to New York?" "Yeah, I don't feel like hanging around the airport," said Logan. The group walked through town and made it to the airfield, and there sat a Blackbird stealth fighter jet. "Yes, I made sure to fuel it before I left, for I had a feeling I would need to get out of here pretty quick," said Deadpool. Everyone boarded the plane. "Well, people, strap yourselves in and kiss your butts goodbye, for you are now flying Air Deadpool," said Deadpool as he turned on the plane and took off down the runway. Both women closed their eyes and screamed as Naruto just giggled. Logan just looked at them and got up and went and joined the nutcase in the cockpit. Almost a day later, they land in New York on one of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s landing strips. "I don't want to do that again," said Tsunade. They walked out of the plane to find a 6'3" black man with a patch over his right eye. He was dressed in a black leather duster with a black shirt and pants and black boots. "What the hell do you think you are doing with one of my planes, Deadpool?" asked Fury. "Well, I needed a ride to Japan and the airport wouldn't let me take my toys with me. I remember you told me if I need anything you would let me use it. So I borrowed a plane. I brought it back in one piece," said Deadpool. The man just shook his head. "Who do you have here with you?" asked Fury. "Well, I'm Naruto Uzumaki and I'm going to be the next Hokage. The blonde hair lady there is Tsunade Ba-chan and the lady next to her is Shizune-chan," said Naruto. "Gaki, I told you not to call me that," said Tsunade as a TCK formed on the left side of her head. Shizune covered her mouth with her hand, trying to hide the grin on her face. "Uncle Wade said someone by the name of Thor could help us return home," said Naruto. Fury raised his single eyebrow up and looked at Deadpool, before returning his gaze to the little girl that was speaking with him. "Where are you from?" asked Fury. Tsunade stepped forward. "We are from the Hidden Leaf, one of the hidden villages in the elemental nations. Mr. Wilson there somehow managed to summon us here with a summoning scroll a 3-tailed fox demon showed him," said Tsunade. "He did what now?" asked a very annoyed Fury. Sighing, Tsunade bit her thumb and summoned Katsuyu. A giant slug appeared before them. "This is Katsuyu. She is my summoning animal," said Tsunade. "Is there something you need, my lady?" asked Katsuyu. "Yes, I need you to give the 3rd Hokage a message for me, letting him know we are alright. As tell him we had been summoned though the Kyūbi no Yoko summoning scroll. But we don't have it anymore. The foxes have it. Maybe Jiraiya could figure something out to get us back," said Tsunade. Everyone just looked up at the giant slug. "Yes, my lady," said Katsuyu. With that she vanished in a giant poof of smoke. "What the hell did you bearing me Wildson?" yelled Fury. "A giant slug and 2 ladies and a little girl. I would say Logan, but Wolvie has already left," said Deadpool. Mr. Fury, I'm hungry, could we get something to eat? I already finished all of Uncle Wade's cheese puffs, said Naruto. In a very rare moment, Fury had a soft look on his face and a very kind smile. He bent down and picked up the little girl, setting her on his shoulder. Sure kid, let's get you something to eat. With that, the group walked from the airstrip and went to a large building. The door slid open and they walked in. People walked around with folders in their hands or duff bags or weapons as they went by. The group made their way to an elevator and stepped in when the doors slid open. Fury pressed a button that had an A next to it. Naruto just looked around the small shiny box they were in. Music played in the background and Naruto couldn't help but hum along with it. They came to a stop and the doors slid open again. The group walked out and walked down a long hallway. I'm telling you, Rogers, we need to go out and do something this weekend. Pepper is out of town and I get bored at home, said Tony. I have told you already, Stark. I will not go out with you this weekend. The last time I went out with you, we ended up at a strip club and that was something I don't want to do again, said Steve. What is this strip club you speak of? Asked Thor. It is a place you shouldn't be talking about in front of a little girl, said Fury. The three men quickly turned around and saw Fury carrying a little girl on his shoulder. She looked to be maybe 4 to 5 years old. Are we doing another make-wish come true again, Fury? Asked Tony, as he looked up at the little girl in the orange kimono with the yellow obi. Her eyes the brightest blue he had ever seen. Her pigtail blonde hair just made her look even cute. No, not this time. This time Wade has made a new mess and we are now having to clean it up after him, said Fury. Before anyone else could say anything, they heard a very loud growl. Naruto blushed as her tummy growled even louder. Sorry, said Naruto. Thor looked at the little girl with a big smile. Come, little one, and let us dine on what I have made for lunch. Fury put Naruto down and she ran over to the very tall man with dirty blonde hair. Thor picked her up and placed in the chair next to him. He had 2 streak and cheese subs he had made and nacho cheese Doritos bag open next to him. He cut one of the subs into smaller pieces so Naruto could hold them. Steve had gone and got a glass of milk for Naruto. Smiling, Naruto took a big bite of her sandwich. Her eyes got huge and light up. This is really good. Deadpool walked over to Naruto. The big guy next to you is Thor. Really? She looked at the man next to her. Yes, I am the mighty Thor. Mr. Thor. Uncle Wade said you might be able to get us home, said Naruto. Tsunade stepped forward. Yes, Wade said that you were able to travel between worlds and might be able to open a gateway back to our own home. Thor looked up at the blonde-haired woman. That is the job of our gatekeeper Heimdall. He is the one that opens the gates and allows those to travel between worlds. But, he and my father had spoken of a child of light come to Earth and seek guidance from great warriors. Is there any way Heimdall would send us back? Asked Tsunade. I am not sure. I would have to speak to my father about this as well, said Thor. Just then a tall man about 7 feet wearing gold armor with a blade that was almost 6 feet appeared before them, his golden eyes resting on the small child. Heimdall, did father send you? Asked Thor. No, I am here to speak with the child, said Heimdall. Everyone looked at the man with an puzzled expression. Naruto jumped out of her chair and walked up to the tall man. She smiled at him. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, you are the child of light, the one who will bring peace to the elemental nations. I am here to give you several gifts that are of your lineage, said Heimdall. 4 large scrolls appeared in his hands. These are of your mother, Kushina Uzumaki. She was a Valkyrie and a dear friend of mine. Yes, she was from the elemental nations. But, she had a special soul and had the powers of a Valkyrie. Odin had me summon her to him at a young age and had her trained and awoke several of her bloodline powers. After her training she was sent back home to the whirlpool before its destruction. When she arrived back, her father had sent her to the Leaf to meet with Mito Senju, where her aunt sealed the Kyūbi no Kitsune into her. The Kyūbi must be passed to one of Uzumaki blood, for they are the only clan to ever been able to cage the beast, said Heimdall. She took the scrolls and almost fell over when Thor caught her. She smiled looking up at him. Thank you, Thor. He took the large scrolls and placed them on the table. Kushina is this girl's mother? Yes, she is. She had asked me to take these scrolls from her home when the Kyūbi was freed from her, said Heimdall. How in the hell was the Kyūbi freed from her and what is going on here? Yelled and asked Tsunade. Shizune placed a hand on her sensei's shoulder. When Kushina was giving birth to Naruto, a man by the name of Madara Uchiha had attacked her and fatally wounding her. Freeing the Kyūbi and used it to attack the village before he was sealed within Naruto. Said Heimdall. Tsunade and Shizune, both their jaws hit the ground as they looked at the man before them. How do you know all this? Asked Shizune, as she tried to collect all her thoughts and feelings on what was being told to them. As gatekeeper, I have all-seeing eyes. They show me what is happening. Also, the second I felt something wrong with Kushina, I opened the gate to her world and saw everything and went to her side when Minato went after Madara. The man had kidnapped Naruto. She had told me she wasn't long for this world and that when Naruto was older to bring her to Odin to train and give her the scrolls to learn her birthright. I promised her. She had gone after Minato to help seal the Kyuubi back within her. But Minato had began to seal the Kyuubi into Naruto. While under Madara's control, the fox attacked trying to kill the baby. But both her parents served as shields. Kushina dead after telling Naruto she loved her. Minato dead after the third Hokage had shown up, expressing his wishes his daughter be seen as a hero. But the elders and civilian council had other plans. I was unable to get the girl and take her to Odin. I had to return, for Loki was making trouble. Said Heimdall. I knew your mother well, little one. She was like a little sister to me and a wonderful warrior. She had earned the nickname Red Hot Habanero. Said Thor as he laughed, thinking of his dear little sister. Really? Asked Naruto. Her blue eyes sparkled and she had the largest smile anyone had ever seen. Yes, really, little one. Said Thor. Well, isn't this a joyous family reunion? Said Deadpool. Come on, Fallen, I need to talk more. It is painful keeping so quiet. Said Deadpool as he broke the fourth wall. But I hate to cut family time in half. I need to get a much bigger apartment and get Rugrat there settled in. Said Deadpool. Everyone turned looking at him. Who the hell gave him custody of this child? Asked Fury. Out of nowhere a three-tailed silver fox appeared. I am the priestess of the Kyūbi no Kitsune shrine in Kyoto, Japan. Deadpool was the only human I had found that was able to summon my lord Kyūbi back from the elemental nations. Said the priestess. Yup, the fox did. Said Deadpool, grinning. Tony stepped forward and looked from the fox into Deadpool. I'll set you all up in one of my extra apartments in Stark Towers. This way I know the kid is safe and alive and not being twisted by this moron. Cool. How much is rent? I can't go over $1,500. I still need to take Naruto there shopping and buy her training gear. Said Deadpool. It's free, and what the hell are you going to be, teach her? Asked Tony. Well, I was thinking swordplay, guns, karate. You know, the basics every little girl should know before she become a young lady and will be able to beat any boy's ass if he tries anything with her. Said Deadpool with an evil glint in his eyes. The fox priestess walked forward with 3 more large scrolls wrapped in her 3 tails. Within these scrolls will teach her to become one with the Kyuubi's chakra, as well as it has ninjustice, genjutsu, and several styles of taijutsu that haven't been seen in a very long time. Once she is older, she will become our new Lord Kyuubi. What do you mean she will become one with the Kyuubi? Asked Tsunade. I cannot tell you. For it is her destiny, and the battles she will face will test her will and will push her to her breaking point. I have seen her future and she will become very powerful. Her pure heart will guide her down the path of a true hero. Said the fox priestess. Heimdall nodded his head to her words. She is a legend in the making. Then I shall help in her training. Father is awake and doesn't have any need of me at this time. Said Thor. She will become a fine ninja like her mother. Said Heimdall. Tony blinked. This little girl is going to become a ninja? Like the ones in the all-black outfits that look like pajamas? What's wrong with being a ninja? Asked Tsunade, a TCK mark forming on her forehead. I guess nothing. But come on, their outfits are silly. Said Tony. We are ninjas. Said Tsunade, as she points to herself and Shizune. How can you two ladies ninjas? Asked Steve. Tsunade smirked as she flowed those several hand seals and slammed her hand down to the ground as a mud pit formed around Tony and Steve. They fell into it. That is how you morons. Said Tsunade. Deadpool, Thor, and Heimdall all laughed at the 2 men stuck in the mud. Fury just looked at the 2 women with amusement. That there is what you call a ninjustice? Asked Thor. Yes, it was Earth-style ninjustice. Said Tsunade. Well, could you let those two idiots go and fix my floor? Asked Fury. With a nod, Tsunade did several more hand signs and slammed her hand to the floor. The mud pit was gone and the floor was back to normal. Ninjas from where we are from are different from these ones here. We use chakra and are able to make illusions, as well as elemental attacks. Along with our taijutsu, I believe you call it karate, said Tsunade. Shizune and myself are med nins and the nest in our field. We use our chakra to heal those who are sick or dying or hurt, said Tsunade. Yes, Tsunade is my sensei. We have been traveling for a while and she been teaching me how to heal, make medicine, about poisons, and heal medicines, said Shizune. We will take on teaching her how to control her chakra, along with ninjustice, genjutsu, and taijutsu. But we may need help from back home on some of her training. For each ninja has a different elemental affliction and right now she is too young to find out what her elemental afflictions are, said Tsunade. I was wondering, why are we here to train Naruto? Couldn't she receive this training back in the village? Asked Shizune. Both Heimdall and the Fox Priestess exchange looks with each other. I am afraid not. If Naruto would have stayed in the village she might have been killed or disabled in a random villager attack. At least here we know she will be safe and no one will try to hinder her growth as a ninja and into a young lady, said Heimdall. Thor raised an eyebrow to this comment. What do you mean random villager attack? Asked Thor. Well, Thor, what these lovely ladies told me. They saved her from an angry mob calling her a demon and they had been beating her. They had saved her and I summoned them here, said Deadpool. By hearing this, Thor grew outraged. What do you mean Naruto, daughter of Kushina, was in danger? Why was I not told of this? I would have gone to save her and handle those villagers properly, said Thor. I am sorry, Thor. Odin had forbid anyone to go to Naruto. Unless she was going to die, no one was allowed to intervene, said Heimdall. No one was to intervene in her life. But I had found a loophole and used Deadpool to summon her here, said the Fox Priestess. See, I can be used from time to time, said Deadpool. But would we ever get back home though? Asked Shizune. Yes, as well I will allow whoever you need to help grow young Naru's skills. But she will return at 14 years old. I know that is the age they graduate from the academy and become genin. As well she will be able to protect herself, said Heimdall. Just then a felling overtook Tsunade. She smiled and bit her thumb and did several hand signs and slammed her hand down to the ground. Katsuyu appeared. She was the size of a half-ton truck and sitting on her back was Jiraiya. Everyone just blinked and looked at the huge slug and the man upon her back. My lady, I have returned with news from the third Hokage as well as Jiraiya insisting that he was going to come along with me, said Katsuyu. Pound flashback, no justice pound. Katsuyu appears in the third Hokage's office. Lord Third, I have news on Tsunade, Shizune, and a little girl named Naruto, said Katsuyu. What is it, my dear girl Katsuyu? Said Sarutobi. They had been summoned using the Kyūbi no Kitsune summoning scroll and are with a man named Deadpool who has been entrusted with Naruto's well-being by a three-tailed fox priestess. As well I had sent word to Gamabunta to summon Jiraiya, said Katsuyu. Jiraiya will be here within the hour. I was lucky to find him in a village not that far from here, said Sarutobi. Just then Jiraiya jumped in through the open window. Now what is going on here? Asked Jiraiya. Tsunade, Shizune, and Naruto have been spirited away to another world, said Katsuyu. Jiraiya blinked, looked at her and then back at his sensei. What do you mean spirited away? Tsunade and Shizune had saved a little girl by the name of Naruto from an angry mob of villagers. While they were healing her, a red summon aura engulfed them and they vanished, said Sarutobi. Okay, and why would a mob being attacking a child? Asked Jiraiya. Because she is the jailer of the Kyūbi no Yoko. The villagers blame her for what had happened 5 years ago when the Kyūbi attacked and many lives were lost, said Sarutobi. Jiraiya's eyes widened. You're telling their child was alive all this time and no one told me? Asked Jiraiya as you could see the anger in his eyes. Yes, she is, and I did my best to protect her and kept who her parents were a secret, said Sarutobi. Man, sensei, that is cold. You should have told me. I would have found a way to take care of her and kept her safe. For Kami's sake, I am the girl's godfather. It fell to me to raise her, said Jiraiya as he slammed his hands on the desk. Honestly, Jiraiya, would you have given up your lifestyle to raise an infant? Given up your traveling? Given up your research? Asked Sarutobi. Jiraiya looked down with shame. I guess not. I would have probably dumped her on one of the clan heads, making her their problem and maybe coming once a month to check up on her. I did what I could in trying to keep her safe, knowing full well I wouldn't be able to find you and try saddling you with the burden of raising a child," said Sarutobi. Both men just stood there looking down at the ground. You could see the guilt and shame in their eyes. Katsuyu cleared her throat. "What are you going to do now with them over in another world?" asked Katsuyu. "Well, I guess see if we could somehow summon them back with one of you summons. I could have Jiraiya summon a toad and send you back with what we talked about to Tsunade, and the others then have the toad summon everyone back," said Sarutobi. "What if we allow Naruto to grow up there and have her trained over there with Tsunade if she wants to stay? I could also leave a toad there and have it summon me back there to train her as well," said Jiraiya. Sarutobi sat there for a while thinking over this suggestion. After 10 minutes of sitting there in silence, Sarutobi opened his desk drawer and pulled out several scrolls and a small wallet. Just then there was a knock at his door. "Come in," said Sarutobi. "Hokage-sama, I have a couple D-rank missions for you to sign," said Iruka, as he walked into the office and around the large oak desk and placed all the forms down. "Ah, Iruka, yes, I forgot about those. By the way, Iruka, could you do a couple things for me?" asked Sarutobi. "Of course, Hokage-sama. What do you need me to?" asked Iruka. Pulling out a pen, Sarutobi unrolled the scroll and began to write down several items. "Take this scroll and buy all I have written down, and here's some money," said Sarutobi. "Hi, Hokage-sama." Iruka bowed and left the office. "So, we agree. We allow this Deadpool person and Tsunade and Shizune to raise Naruto over there?" asked Jiraiya. "Yes, it would be for the best. They do not know of her being the jailer for the Kyūbi, and maybe when the time is right she can return home," said Sarutobi. Just then the old man had appeared 10 years older. He had lost his golden ray of sunshine because of these assholes who couldn't tell the difference of a child and a fox. Just then the Hokage's secretary walked in. "Hokage-sama, they're waiting for you." "Ah, okay. I am on my way." "Jiraiya, would you mind accompanying me to a council meeting?" asked Sarutobi. "Not at all, sensei," said Jiraiya. As both men walked by, the woman stepped aside and bowed. They walked down the hallway. 2 large oak doors with carvings of the leaf symbol and senju symbol upon them stood tall and ever so sturdy. Pushing them open, everyone in the room grew quiet as the 2 men walked in and passed by the others to the center desk. "What is the meaning of this meeting?" asked one of the civilian councilmen. Clearing his throat, Sarutobi looked over at the man who had the outburst, releasing killer intent upon him. The man sat down quickly, scared shitless. "As you all may have heard, another mob of villagers attacked Naruto Uzumaki again today. But, after the attack, her along with 2 others were spirited away," said Sarutobi. "Who cares of that demon child? It is good that she is gone and out of our hair," said a civilian councilwoman. Jiraiya glares at the woman as the clan heads were shocked. "Does anyone know where they have gone?" asked Inoichi. "Yes, I have just gotten word not that long ago from Katsuyu that Naruto and the others are safe. That she has been placed in the guardianship of one named Deadpool," said Sarutobi. "Isn't Katsuyu the summons of Tsunade Senju of the Sannin?" asked Shikaku. "Yes, her and Shizune were the ones spirited away with Naruto. They were also the ones that the mob confused to that the civilian council had told them about Naruto being the jailer of the Kyūbi no Yoko," said Sarutobi. The clan council looked over at the civilian council. Rage was seen in their eyes. "How dare you speak so freely of an S-rank secret? With you people opening your big fat mouths, you have placed this whole village in danger. You petite fools," yelled Hiyashi Hyuga. "Kami knows what the enemy would have done to the poor girl if they knew what she has sealed within her. Just before this meeting was called, my daughter Hana had come to me with very disturbing information," said Sume Inuzuka. "What information was that?" asked Jiraiya. "She was told by the head lady at the orphanage that just this morning the civilian council had authorized orders to throw young Naruto Uzumaki out onto the street with just the cloths on her back," said Sume Inuzuka. The Hokage just sat there in silence, processing everything he just heard. He slowly removed his hat and placed it onto the table before him. He glanced up at the civilian council. "As of today there will be no more civilian council. Not till we are able to secure more confident council members to represent the civilians of the village. I hereby charge you with treason and willful endangerment of a child. Anbu, take them all to Ibki and Anko for interrogation and to be executed for sharing valuable information that the enemy could have used against the village and endangered everyone. Said the third Hokage. I will call several of my clan's men so they will be able to aid me in the interrogation of these traitors. Said Inoichi Yamamaka. Don't you have a daughter, Inoichi? Asked Sume. Yes, I do. Said Inoichi. Wouldn't it be excellent training for her to see how a traitor's mind works? Asked Sume. That it would. I will have to send for her as well. She does always want to go and help her daddy at work. Said Inoichi. Before the elders could open their mouths to voice their objections to what had just happened, Sarutobi turned around and faced them. Before you bitch that I have gone against the village, I will let you know I have no issue sending you along with those traitors and be done with you three. The elders just paled and dared not utter a single word, for they knew at this very moment their lives hanged from a very thin line. Danzo sat there, his mind racing, for he knew once those fools talked it was all over for him. Hiyashi Hyuga, I will have you along with Shikaku Nara head up civilian affairs till we are able to appoint a new civilian council. Would you two as well be willing to clean up house at the orphanage as well? Said the third Hokage. Hi Hokage-sama, said both men. You all are dismissed, said the third Hokage. Jiraiya and Sarutobi returned to his office. Both men sighed. Just then Iruka had walked into the office behind them. Hokage-sama, I have gotten all the items you have asked for. Said Iruka. Ah, thank you Iruka. I have one more thing to ask of you. Said the Hokage. What is it, sir? Asked Iruka. Please go to the Haruno residence and help Sakura Haruno pack her belongings. Said the Hokage. Yes, sir, but may I ask why? Asked Iruka. Her mother has made her an orphan today with acts of treason, and the Yamamaka clan has offered to take her in and raise the poor girl as their own until she is older and able to move back into her home on her own. Said the Hokage. Hi Hokage-sama, said Iruka as he looks at the men before him. He had a sad look in his eyes. He left the office and the tower and went and found Sakura Haruno and helped her pack and took her to her new home. Sarutobi walked over to a safe in the wall and opened it with his chakra and took out several dusty scrolls that had the Uzumaki symbol on them as well as several scrolls that had Namikaze symbol as well and placed them on his desk. Walked over to the vault in his office and pulled out the forbidden scroll and walked back to his desk. These are justice I have been entrusted with for Naruto for when she was older. Seeing that she will be elsewhere training, I see no reason not to give them to her. As well I will send some other justice that will aid her in the future. Said Sarutobi. Jiraiya went to work sealing everything in several scrolls and getting ready for this trip. Just as they finished with everything and Jiraiya was ready to go, the clan council knocked on the door. Come in, said Sarutobi. Clan council came walking in. Lord Hokage, you never told us who placed Naruto in another's watch, said Hiyashi. It was the priestess fox of the Kyūbi no Kitsune shine in the other world. Said Katsuyu. It appeared that even the demon foxes feared for the young girl's safety. Said Jiraiya. Yes, they did. They felt she would be safer there. As well, there is a family friend of Kushina there. He has vowed to watch over her. Said Katsuyu. The clan council had looks of shock on their faces. All but Shikaku Nara. How troublesome. No one made the connection of the girl being the woman's daughter or that fact she is the daughter of Minato. Said Shikaku. They all looked at him. They were all gaping. Well, now you know the truth. So, now I get to see a whole new world. Said Jiraiya. He climbed onto Katsuyu's back and told he was ready. She grew quiet and within moments they both were gone. As a small toad sat on the Hokage's desk. Hey, do you have any snacks? Asked the toad. Opening his desk drawer, the Hokage pulled out a bag of chips and handed them to the young toad and sat down. After the group left for Stark Tower, Naruto couldn't help but be wide-eyed as she sat in the SUV looking out the window from her car seat. Where they found a child's car seat still baffled the others. So you're telling us this is a car? Asked Shizune. She looked around inside of the SUV. You use this to get around town and travel long distances? Yes, said Tony. It appears that you don't have anything like this from where you're from. Shizune shook her head. No. We just walk, run, tree jump, or ride a horse. But we do have boats. I did see several ships when we left Japan. Stark raised an eyebrow to her comment and turning to look at the other two that accompany her. Do you even have TVs, computers, or cell phones? Yes, we have TVs and computers. But we don't have cell phones, said Tsunade, her eyes locked with Stark. We pretty much have everything you do besides these luxuries you call cars, planes and cell phones. We are ninjas and we need to travel in stealth. These cars are too noisy and smell bad as they pass by. Even a horse is quieter. Stark and Thor couldn't help but laugh. Lady Tsunade, I know how you feel. Back in Asgard we do not have all these things. We are warriors and travel by horse or Heimdall Bridge. Thor couldn't help but smile. Uncle Wade, will the villagers here hate me like they do back home? Asked Naruto. Deadpool looked at the small girl sitting next to him in the rear back seat. Kid, I don't see why they would hate you here. You're too darn cute to hate. But back home the villagers called me demon brat and would hurt me and starve me, said Naruto. Everyone grew quiet as they listened to what Naruto was saying. Well, princess, your Uncle Wade is here to make sure you are safe and that no one will ever hurt you again, said Deadpool. When you're older and start dating, your boyfriends will not know what hit them. A deranged laugh escaped his lips. Uncle Wade, I'm still too young to be thinking about dating, yelled Naruto. Everyone couldn't help but laugh at her outburst. She had puffed out her cheeks and crossed her little arms over her chest. I know, princess, but I'm just saying. Anyways, it appears your other uncles agree with me, said Deadpool. She will only date the finest of warriors. If there is none suited for her in her homeworld, we will find the best form Asgard, said Thor. Uncle Thor, not you too, yelled Naruto. By this point they had pulled into the underground parking garage and Rogers had followed behind on his motorcycle. They parked and walked to the elevator. Entering it, Naruto sat in Thor's large arms looking around at the adults around her. Today was the day Naruto, our little outcast, our little orphan that no one loved or cared about, got her family. A lunatic in red and black she will always love as her Uncle Wade. Thor, her mother's brother. Tony Stark, a man who had a strange glow thing coming from his chest. And Steve Rogers, a man who had a kind-hearted and gently eyes. To her she would love them all as her uncles. The elevator came to a stop just 2 floors below the penthouse at the 40th floor. As they stepped out they saw the huge apartment. It was furnished with huge black and silver couches and steel end-tabled and coffee tables. Huge black and silver rug in the center of the white marble floors. It was a jaw-dropper. Use you imagination. I'll be living here, Uncle Tony? Asked a wide-eyed Naruto. Yes, this is your new home. I was originally going to surprise Pepper with this place for her mother. But I think it is better suited for our little princess, said Tony. Welcome back, sir, came a disembodied voice. Jarvis, I would like you to meet our new house guests, said Tony. Sir, really Mr. Wilson will be living here? Said Jarvis. Hey, buddy, I know you're still mad at me for the last time I hacked you. But I did say I was sorry. I thought it would be funny you sounded like me, said Deadpool. Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Shizune just exchanged look with each other. Jarvis is my personal assistant. He is an artificial intelligence program or an AI that runs everything for me, as well as keeps morons out of trouble, said Tony as he looked at Deadpool. Yeah, they get it. I'm a troublemaker, said Deadpool. Asterisk. Yeah, you are bonehead. Don't start with me, said Deadpool out loud. The others just ignored him and walked past him. As they passed him, Deadpool slapped himself. Sir, I have already contacted the interior Dane about redoing the 36th floor for Miss Potts' mother. I gave her the colors you had selected, said Jarvis. Which colors did you tell her? Asked Tony. I have told her the silver and white, said Jarvis. Ah, good call. I wasn't sure she would have liked this one anyways, said Tony. Everyone just looked at him as he stood there thinking and talking to the voice coming from the walls. Jarvis. Wade will be staying here along with Naruto, Tsunade, and Shizune. Jiraiya will be coming and going from time to time. So please make sure they have everything they need. As well make sure Wade doesn't blow this place up, said Tony. I accidentally blow up one shield office and no one lets you forget about it, said Deadpool. Wade, if you would have better stored your explosives. That would have never happened, said Steve Rogers. I did. I had them in Ziploc bags, said Deadpool. Everyone deadpanned at what he said. Naruto walked over to the large rug in the middle of the room. She looked down at the design and softly giggled. Everyone heard her soft giggle and looked over to her. Tsunade, look. This rug has the Uzumaki symbol in it, said Naruto. Tsunade walked over to look at what the girl was pointing at. Her eyes widened as she saw the symbol in black and silver. The black outlined the large silver circle of the spiral. The older blonde woman looked over at Tony. Why do you have the Uzumaki symbol? The what symbol? Asked Tony, as he walked over and looked at what the two blondes were staring at. Uncle Tony, that is my clan's symbol from back home. But I didn't know I could change the color from orange and black to black and silver, said Naruto. Well, Naruto, the color can be changed from time to time when a new clan head takes over. As you are the last Uzumaki, I believe you can change it, said Tsunade. Really? Cool, said Naruto. Tony just watched them. So, you call your family's clans and have symbols for each clan? Yes, said Tsunade. It appears fate had a hand in this room you had made, Tony, said Thor. It appears so, said Tony. Well, I hate to ruin this moment, but shouldn't we be getting our little princess here new clothing and things she will need as well as her fairy godmother and auntie? Said Deadpool. Deadpool walked over to the kitchen table and took off his Hello Kitty backpack and unzipped it and flipped it over. Guns, ammo, knives, and other deadly items fell out all over the table. He took the briefcase and opened it and took half the money and put into the backpack, closing the briefcase back up and sliding it under the table. Okay, I'm ready. Let's get this show on the road, said Deadpool. Jarvis, said Tony. Already on it, sir. While you're out, several gun cases will be delivered and installed on the second floor of the apartment, said Jarvis. They all went back down the elevator and went to the main lobby. They followed Tony over to two men sitting at a large round desk with several small TVs. Matt, Devin, please issue everyone key cards for the build. Both men nodded and pull out 5 key cards and hands them over to Tony. Thank you guys. Please remember them as they will be living here from now on, said Tony. Yes, sir, said both men. Back in the Hidden Leaf Village. Danzo is in his secret base underneath the village, in the old catacombs once used to house and hide the civilian and non-ninja clans members during times of war or attack. Hurry, gather all the records and test subjects that are strong enough to travel, said Danzo. We haven't the time to waste. That old fool will know soon enough and be after us. The members of Root scurried around like the roaches they were. They took the children they had been testing on and loaded them into wagons at the edge of the village from an old cave entrance. There had been 6 wagons in total. The Root ninjas ditched their ninja attire to appear to be traveling merchants. That night all of Root along with their leader Danzo had escaped from what was laying wait for them after the 3rd Hokage had found out Danzo had been feeding classified information and secrets to the civilian council along with selling secrets to the highest bidder. That bastard. What all has he done behind my back? Asked Sarutobi as he looked at the other 2 elders. We have no idea, said Homura. He looked over at Kaharu, but she just shook her head no. Appeared Danzo had his own agenda at play here. I am just grateful that Naruto isn't here and out of that man's hands, Sarutobi said. He has been hounding me as of late to allow him to turn the poor girl to a weapon to be used as to how he saw fit for the greater good of the village. Lord Third, said Inu. Yes, Inu, what do you have to report on Danzo? Said the third. Danzo and many others have vanished from the village with light of events that have taken place earlier, said Inu. He looked at his aged leader though his mask. That son of a. Sarutobi yelled. That rat. I should have exterminated him years ago. I was a fool to think he would change. Anything else, Inu? Asked the third. While looking for Danzo we found an old passage in his home leading to the old catacombs and found several bases set up for many things as well as sick and injured children. It has appeared Danzo had picked up where Orochimaru had left off on his experimentation on children and some adults, said Inu. The pen that was held in Sarutobi's hand snapped and ink went all over the top of his desk. We have taken them to the hospital. But I fear many will not make it. The ones who do will have some deep-seated issues. But we did find something troublesome, said Inu. What? Asked Kaharu. The children are all orphans, said Inu. Everyone paled as the temperature in the room dropped. Find out who is missing in the ninja ranks that are not on missions and place them all in the bingo book along with Danzo's ugly ass, said the third. As well send word to the Damino and others the bastard may try to turn too. Inu and the two elders bowed before the enraged third Hokage and went to take care of the task that had been given to them. Tsunade, Shizune, and Jiraiya, please keep her safe. Kami, watch over her, said Sarutobi. Back in New York, Naruto ran through the mall, with her eyes wide looking at all the people and stores surrounding her. This place is bigger than the marketplace back home, said Naruto. Well kiddo, there are a lot of people here, so they come to the mall to buy what they may need and just wander around wasting time, said Deadpool. A toy store to her left caught her eye. In the display window stood a 6FT tan-colored teddy bear. Without thinking, Naruto walked up to the window and looked up at it. Her eyes wide and a small smile on her little face. Would you like a monster-sized bear, princess? Asked Deadpool. All she could do was nod her little head yes, as her golden sun-kissed locks moved wildly around her. Deadpool and Thor took her hand and went into the toy store. 20 minutes later they came out with said bear and several bags of toys. Thank you. I never had any toys before, said Naruto. Don't worry, little one. These toys are just the start of many you will be receiving in the near future, said Thor. Two men walked up to them. Mr. Stark has ordered us to load all packages in truck and deliver them back home, said one of the delivery guys. Okay, here you go, Kojak. Make sure you do not rip my little princess's teddy bear. If you do, you have hell to pay, said Deadpool with a dark tone in his voice. Both Thor and Naruto just looked at him like he was nuts, but just sighed. The two men just paled and nodded their heads as they took the toys and went down to the loading bay. Deadpool, you need to stop scaring the help. Good help is hard to find these days, and those two been working for me for a very long time, said Tony. What? I just told them to be careful with Naruto's toys, said Deadpool. You could see a goofy smile though his mask. Tsunade took Naruto's hand and they went into the clothing store next to the toy store. Shizune walked alongside them as the men followed close behind. Okay Naruto sweetie, let's get you some new cloths, said Tsunade. Okay Ba-chan, said Naruto. Tsunade just sighed and they walked to the children's department. Naruto looked at all the cloths and back at everyone. What's wrong, kiddo? Asked Deadpool. I don't know what I want. But also, am I only allowed to buy everything in orange? Asked Naruto. Everyone stopped and looked at her. Why would you only be allowed orange? Asked Shizune. Back home the villagers only sold me cloths that color. Even when I asked Gigi for a pink dress, the villagers attacked me and dumped orange paint on me, said Naruto. Well kid, you can get any color you want, and if someone tries anything, they will have to get past us, said Tony. When you go back home we'll go with you and have a few words with these villagers, said Rogers. Naruto smiled at them. It's okay. When Ba-chan and Shizune-chan saved me, I had just pranked half the village with stink bombs and ugly orange dye bombs as payback for my dress. Everyone just laughed as they looked at the small girl. I've been playing pranks on those villagers as soon as I was able to roof jump and move quicker than the animal-masked people, said Naruto. How long have you been able to do that? Asked Shizune. 2 years now, said Naruto. I want to be a ninja, so I train myself. Along with that I borrowed a few scrolls from Gigi. In the little traveling scroll you took from me in Kyoto, I have the scrolls one barrow in it. We'll have to see what scrolls you have when we get back home, okay Naruto, said Shizune. Naruto just nodded her head and began to look at all the cloths. 2 hours later, they left the store with new cloths for Naruto, Tsunade, and Shizune. They went to the shoe store, got Naruto some new shoes. All the men had their arms loaded with bags when the two guys returned to go load the things in the truck. Tsunade looked at Tony. Is there a herbal store around here? I need to restock on my ointments and medicines, just in case Naruto gets hurt. We'll have to make a trip to Chinatown, because they may have what you need, said Tony. Pulling his phone out, Tony made a call. Okay everyone, our ride shall be out front in a few minutes. The group walked outside to see a larger than normal SUV. Hey Happy, I'm glad you were able to get here so quickly, said Tony. Well, Jarvis called me 20 minutes ago and told me you would need a ride, said Happy. Happy, I would like you to meet Tsunade, Shizune, and Jiraiya, Tony said, as he looked for Naruto, only to find her hiding behind Thor under his cape. Also, I would like you to meet Naruto. Happy walked up to Naruto and kneeled down to her level. It is nice to meet you, princess. My name is Harold Hogan, but you can call me Happy. Naruto smiled and hugged him. Okay Happy. They all got into the large SUV and took off. Where to Tony? Asked Happy. We are going to Chinatown. Tsunade needs some odd and ends from there. Said Tony. You got it. To Chinatown. Said Happy. The drive took about 30 minutes with all the traffic. Naruto looked out the window with her eyes all huge, seeing all the different buildings and people. Wow, those buildings are bigger than Gigi's tower. Said Naruto. Well, kiddo, New York is known for its big buildings. Said Tony. Really, Uncle Tony? Could you sometime take me to see the largest one? Asked a wide-eyed Naruto. Sure thing, kiddo, sure thing. Said Tony. They arrived in Chinatown. The buildings had Chinese symbols and writing on them. Everyone got off and Naruto looked around. Ba-chan, where we going? Asked Naruto. Well, Gaki, we are looking for an herbal and medicine store. Said Tsunade. Deadpool picked up Naruto and sat her on his shoulder. Thank you, Uncle Wade. Said Naruto. No sweat, pint size. Said Deadpool. They walked around for a good 10 minutes before Tsunade saw what she wanted. Jiraiya was checking out some of the girls standing next to a massage parlor. When Tsunade saw this, she walked up to the preppy old man and grabbed him by his ear and dragged him away. Hey, what was that for? I wasn't doing anything, whined Jiraiya. Yeah, sure, you just happened to be checking out those girls. Said Tsunade. I was just doing some research for my latest book and I wanted to see how different the women here are from our world. Said Jiraiya. With an annoyed look on her face, Tsunade huffed up her chest and crossed her arms. Yeah, whatever. She turned and walked into the shop she was looking at. Within minutes everyone followed behind and Deadpool was pulling out his wallet from his Hello Kitty backpack. Tsunade had found everything she was looking for and more. Wow, this place has everything I need. Said Tsunade. Miss, I will be getting new herbs tomorrow. Maybe you come by them? Said the shop owner. I will, thank you. By the way, do you do special orders? Asked Tsunade. It depends on what it is. I do not deal with illegal drugs. Said the shop owner. Tsunade quickly grabbed the pen and paper off the counter and wrote down several names of herbs she would like. The man looked them over and smiled. You really are in luck, miss. I'll be getting these tomorrow. Tsunade looked over at Deadpool and Happy. Deadpool waved his hand. Yeah, sure, whatever you need. Happy smiled. Miss, there is another shop down the alleyway around this corner that carries the last herb you are asking for. I am unable to get it, for the old witch will not tell me how she gets it. Said the shop owner. Thank you. Said Tsunade. Come on, let's go. I really want to see the other shop. The group left and went down to the corner and went down the alleyway to where they saw a red door with a glass window and the symbol for the leaf in the center of the window. Jiraiya and Tsunade exchanged looks with each other and slowly opened the door. A little bell was heard as the door opened. A voice came from the back. Yes, give me a moment. I'll be there to help you. Said a woman's voice. They all walked in and looked around. Look, Ba-chan, there is the village flag. Said Naruto as she pointed at the large wall scroll. The older woman came up to the front. Her long fiery red hair hung in a high ponytail and she had emerald green eyes. The woman looked at the group and just groaned. Ba-chan? Asked Tsunade. The woman just blinked and looked at the blonde before her. I'm not you, Ba-chan lady. Said the woman as she glared at the group. Tsunade and Jiraiya both blinded and looked at each other. But you look a lot like my grandmother and also you have symbols of our home village hidden in the leaves. Said Tsunade. Well, I'm not her and yes, the leaf was my home a long time ago. Said the annoyed woman. What do you want? I just came to get a couple of herbs that the other shop didn't have. Said Tsunade. Well, write down what you want and I'll see if I have it. Said the woman as she shoved a notepad and pen into Tsunade's hands. Still a little stunned, Tsunade just looked at the notepad and pen before coming to her senses and quickly wrote down what she wanted. The woman took the list and vanished to the back of the shop and back not even 5 minutes later with all of what Tsunade and Shizune were looking for. Deadpool paid and they thanked the woman. Come back again if you need any special items. Said the woman as she watched them leave her shop. Still a little shell-shocked, Tsunade and Jiraiya walked with everyone without saying a word or even Jiraiya checking out any of the ladies walking by. Happy, yelled Naruto. Happy looked up at the little girl. Yes, Naruto? Do you know of any good ramen stands around here? Happy looked around and sighed. I'm sorry, I don't, Naruto. The little girl pouted as she looked around from on top of Deadpool's shoulder. You could hear her tummy growling. A few adults that walked past them. They turned and looked at Deadpool and the little girl. I'm so hungry, said Naruto, sounding a little dramatic. Deadpool looked up at her. Wow kiddo, you sound like you have a wild animal in your tummy. Naruto just giggled at him. No, just my tummy saying feed me or else. Thor raised an eyebrow. Let's find somewhere we could get a late lunch and then buy this ramen she seeks. Everyone just deadpan as they looked at Thor. Naruto otherwise was cheering. They saw a Chinese restaurant and walked over to it. They found a large table and sat down as Deadpool pulled up a buster seat for Naruto. "Ah, welcome to the Golden Kitsune," the waiter said. "Ramen," shouted Naruto. The man just laughed. "Sorry my little Heim, we are out of ramen. The cook forgot to make noodles this morning." Naruto copied Tsunade from earlier and pouted as she crossed her arms over her chest. Everyone couldn't be helped laugh at how cute she looked while pouting. "Well, heck, if she gets any better with that pout we are in big trouble," said Deadpool. "What are you talking about, bonehead? She already has wrapped around her finger," said Deadpool's brain. Deadpool narrowed his eyes and just grumbled. Naruto looked up at him, her lip pouting even more, looking like she was going to cry. "Ah, sweetie, I'm not upset with you. It's just my brain being mean to me again," said Deadpool. Everyone just looked at him like he was nuts. In which case their thought were right. "What?" asked a confused-looking Deadpool. Everyone just shook their heads. "Uncle Deadpool, why do you fight with your brain?" asked Naruto. "Well, sweetie, some evil man lied to your uncle telling me they would heal me and make me better. But their medicine made me very sick and hurt me badly that I have to stay all covered up all the time," said Deadpool. "That's not nice. Maybe when I go back home when I'm older we can find a nice ninja doctor to heal you better," said Naruto as a honest and happy smile crossed her tiny lips. "Maybe, we never know," said Deadpool. They finished eating and left Chinatown to head back to Stark Tower. During the drive Naruto was playing with Thor's hair. "Now little one, why do you like playing with my hair?" asked Thor. "It's pretty and almost as golden as mine," said Naruto. Tsunade and Shizune just giggled as they watched. "Naruto, tell me, why do you want to be a kunoichi?" asked Thor. I want to be the strongest kunoichi since my mommy. Also I want to be like the fourth Hokage. He was the greatest of all the Hokages. Super strong, smart, and super fast," said Naruto. Thor chuckled. "What else do you want to be when you grow up?" "I want to be Hokage," yelled Naruto. "Why do you want to be Hokage, brat?" asked Tsunade. "Because if I'm Hokage the people of the village will stop being mean to me and see me as a strong kunoichi and respect me," said Naruto. Tsunade just shook her head and looked at the little girl before her with sad eyes that betrayed her thoughts. "Tsunade-heim, what's wrong?" asked Jiraiya. She looked at him with tears in her eyes and took a deep and shallow breath. "I messed up big time," said Tsunade. Everyone looked at her. Jiraiya raised a questioning eyebrow. "What do you mean you messed up big time?" asked Jiraiya. "Like it sounds. I just hope our child forgives us," said Tsunade. By now Jiraiya looked worried and everyone looked at them. "What do you mean our childheim?" asked Jiraiya. Tsunade looked Jiraiya in the eyes with tears now streaming down her cheeks. "Jiraiya, after we were married I was pregnant. I gave birth to our child in the land of whirlpools," said Tsunade. "Why didn't you tell me?" asked an upset Jiraiya. "I couldn't. It was during the war and I had Grandma Mito's clansmen hide and protect me," said Tsunade. Jiraiya wrapped his arms around her. "It's okay, Heim. Everything will be okay." "No it will not," shouted Tsunade. "Our daughter is dead and our granddaughter was almost killed by those stupid-ass villagers." She just sobbed uncontrollable into his chest. Everyone was wide-eyed looking at them. "They're married?" asked Deadpool. Naruto, now forgetting about Thor's hair, looked at Tsunade and Jiraiya. The expression on her face was blank as her eyes looked like shiny crystals. Tsunade looked up from Jiraiya's chest and looked at the little girl looking at her. Her breath caught in her throat. "You're my grandparents?" asked Naruto. All Tsunade could do was nod her head. Jiraiya just sat there dumbstruck. Naruto slowly stood and hopped out of her car seat and crawled over to Tsunade and Jiraiya. She touched the older woman's cheek and looked into her chocolate brown eyes and looked deep into them. Tsunade felt as if Naruto was looking into her shameful soul. "Grandma," said Naruto, "did you not want me?" Tsunade pushed out of Jiraiya's arms and grabbed Naruto up into her arms, crying like a newborn baby. "Oh sweetie, if I knew you were alive, I would have raced back to the village and raised you," Really? Asked Naruto. Yes, really, said Tsunade. Sweetie, I never want you out of my life. Jiraiya finally came to his senses and smiled down, looking at the little girl right next to him. If I only knew, I would have done a better job as your grandpa and not be an idiot worrying about my stupid spy network, said Jiraiya. She looked up at him and smiled. Arrow grandpa, yelled Naruto. Jiraiya crossed his arms looking annoyed. Mother like daughter, he grumbled. Tsunade looked at him. You old previous. You're telling me our daughter called Arrow? Yeah, more or less, said Jiraiya. But now that I know Naruto is my only grandchild, I'm not going anywhere far from you ever again. The others looked on to the happy little family. Deadpool wiped a tear from his eye. Ah, how sweet. They arrived back home and everyone went into the tower where they were greeted by Jarvis. Welcome back everyone. I see the shopping trip went well. That it did, Jarvis, said Tony. Sir, I have scanned about half the scrolls into my database and a book called Ik Paradise, said Jarvis. Crap, said Jiraiya as he looked over at Tsunade. Her eyes narrowed as she looked at him. I swear I wasn't planning on having Naruto read my book. I thought I had given him the gutsy little ninja, said Jiraiya as he paled. Oh, that was my doing. I wanted to find out why the book had the adult warnings on it, said Deadpool. Deadpool just smiled behind his mask and walked over to the tablet on the kitchen counter. So, has it been uploaded into this thing yet, Jarvis? Asked Deadpool. Yes, Deadpool, it has been, said the AI. Tony walked over and looked over Wade's shoulder and read a little of it as both men had prevy giggles. Tony looked up at Jiraiya. By the looks of this book, it isn't the first of the series? Clearing his throat and quickly moving away from his wife, Jiraiya spoke. No, this is my 7th book so far. The new one will be out in a couple of months. Well, if you want to earn a little spending money for your wife here in this world, I could publish all the books you have out so far, said Tony. Everyone looked at the brunette man and Deadpool giggled some more. Oh, please do. I really like the story and the chick sounds like a babe, said Deadpool. Jiraiya looked away from them to his wife and back at the two men. There are deluxe editions with pictures of the female heroines. Sold, yelled Deadpool. I want a copy of all the deluxe editions you have on you. Jiraiya pulled out 2 storage scolds from his backpack and looked a little nervous at Tsunade again. He unrolled them and put a little chakra into both scrolls and 2 complete sets of the deluxe editions appeared in a poof of smoke. He handed both men the copies and they saw Deadpool vanish in a blur, yelling for Jarvis to translate them quickly for him. Tsunade just sweat dropped looking at the 3 men. When she heard Deadpool again. Damn Jiraiya, your wife is a babe. Seconds later a girly scream was headed and Deadpool came back into the living room to see Jiraiya curled up in the fetal position crying like a baby. What happened to him? Asked Deadpool. Give me that damn book, yelled Tsunade. Deadpool handed the book over to see in the cover a picture of Jiraiya and herself on their wedding day. She took the picture and a single tear rolled down her cheek. Oh, Jiraiya, I'm sorry, said Tsunade as she went and healed the man she just hurt. Just then, Dr. Bruce Banner walked in from the elevator to see a glowing green hand over a scared and crying man. What happened here? Asked Banner. Naruto turned and looked up at the man. Grandma just beat up Arrow Grandpa. Banner looked down at the little girl and back at the blonde-hair woman. Did I miss something here? Hey, Bruce. Long time no see, said Deadpool. If he is here, something big and bad just happened or is going to happen, said Banner. Ah, why do you always think something bad is going to happen or has happened when you see me? Asked a tearful Deadpool. Because, in the past few years, knowing you something bad always happens and Banner trailed off. Hey, don't blame me for Hulk smash, said Deadpool. Dr. Banner just sighed. Just please no more pranks for the time being. I can't not nor will not promise anything. For you know I have several personalities at times and I will not be blamed for what they do, said Deadpool. Geez, it's like the man has never picked up one of my comic books before. He would know better. Naruto just giggled at Deadpool. Uncle Deadpool, you're weird. I know, sweetie, and I'm the good kind of weird too. You'll never feel sad with me around, said Deadpool. I'm glad, said Naruto as she yawned and hugged Deadpool. It appears it's nighty-night time for a special little lady, said Deadpool. Naruto yawned once more before falling asleep in his arms. A smile crossed his masked face. I finally get to be a daddy. Tsunade raised an eyebrow to his comment, but didn't say anything, for she was seeing a soft and gentle side of Wade that rarely ever came out. As well, Thor and Tony stopped her before she could take the small girl from the masked man. Wade carried her to her room as the others followed behind him. He laid her down on her bed and motioned for Tsunade to come over. "Do you want to change her into her PJs?" asked Deadpool. "Yeah, I'll change her. But do you think you could find them for me?" asked Tsunade. Deadpool nodded his head and went to work looking through all the bags in the room while Tsunade began undressing her. Deadpool walked back over with his back facing them and laid the new PJs on the bed and quickly left the room, closing the door behind him. Tsunade just smirked and shook her head and finished getting the little one ready for bed. Back in the living room, Deadpool pulls off his mask, revealing his scared face. Just as Tsunade walked back into the room, looking over at the man, Tsunade just stops dead in her tracks. "What the hell happened to you?" Wade looks up. "Like I said before, I was part of a really bad lab experiment and Francis screwed me over and made me into this fabulous beauty queen before your eyes. Come here and let's see what I can do for you, Your Highness," said Tsunade as she walked over to the kitchen and washed her hands and pointed to the bar stool in front of her. Wade just sighed and sat down. "I don't know what you think you're going to do here. I have been to some of the best skin docs and plastic surgeons around that money could pay for, as well as blackmailed." Now this got everyone's attention as Tsunade's hands began to glow a light green before their eyes. "Well, you think you've been to the best. But, honey, they don't have anything on me and my skills," said Tsunade. "She is right. Tsunade Heim is one of the best there is," said Jiraiya. "What is she doing and why are her hands glowing green?" asked Banner. "That's simple really. My hands are green because I'm using healing chakra. I am a medic nin and the best there ever was, if I don't say so myself," said Tsunade. "Chakra?" asked Banner. He had a confused expression on his face. "Chakra is spiritual energy and life force energy that our bodies make that mix into and make chakra," said Shizune. "We all have it. It's just if we activate it and use it." I see. So anyone could learn this then," said Banner. "Yes, but it is easier to activate chakra coils when you're smaller, because it is more painful to activate them when you're an adult," said Shizune. "Does everyone from where you come from know how to use chakra?" asked Banner. "Yes and no. Some civilians know how to use it but don't. It's mainly the ninjas that use chakra. Also some samurais," said Jiraiya. "Before you ask, not all ninjas are able to do healing justice, because it takes excellent control over chakra and the knowledge on how much to use while healing someone. Because too much could poison and kill the person." With that said, Shizune nodded her head. "I have been Lady Tsunade's apprentice for a while now and I am nowhere near the level she is at." All the men just stared at Tsunade as she ran her hand over Wade's face. With shock on their faces, they saw some of his face was healing. "Well, Wade, maybe in a couple of months you'll be ready to walk the runways again," said Tsunade. She stepped back from him and looked at his face that was slowly begin to smooth out and heal. "Really? I hope so. I miss walking the Victoria's Secret runway shows," said Wade as anime tears ran down his cheeks. Wade?" said Steve Rogers. "Yeah, Cap, something I can do for you?" asked Wade. "Please go look in a mirror," said Steve. Tsunade stood there with her hand on her hip with a smirk on her face. As Wade got up and went walking into the bathroom. "Oh dear God, I'm beautiful," screamed Wade. Wade came back running into the kitchen and picked up Tsunade and gave her a big kiss on the lips and spun her around. Thank you. You are a goddess and I shall worship the ground you walk on," said Wade. Everyone just laughed, as Jiraiya glared at Wade and grumbled. "Jackass kissing my wife. Don't get your panties in a bunch, old man. I'm just thanking the hottie for the help," said Wade, as Tsunade blushed and pushed herself out of his arms. "I swear I don't know what you see in Grumpy there. But, if you ever get tired of him, just come and knock on my door and I'll make sure to keep a smile on those lovely lips," said Wade. "You little asshole," said Jiraiya as he was slowly forming the Rasengan in his right hand. "What is that?" asked Thor. Everyone looked at Jiraiya's hand. "Damn it, Jiraiya, put that away before you hurt someone," said Tsunade. "Well, that's the point," growled out Jiraiya. "Knock it off, you ass. I know you've been flirting with younger women for those damn books of yours. So back off before I remove your little toad," said Tsunade with an icy look in her chocolate brown eyes. Jiraiya stopped dead in his tracks and the spinning blue ball of chakra vanished and slowly nodded his head. "Yes, dear," was all he could say. Wade just giggled. "I see who wears the pants in this family. What, my wife is super strong," said Jiraiya. "He isn't lying. Lady Tsunade once knocked down a brick house with just one punch," said Shizune. All the men looked at the blonde-haired woman and at once took a step away from her. Not even Dr. Banner wanted to get near her as the Hulk. "It's been a long day and I need some rest. I have a feeling Naruto going to be up at the cracks of dawn and I need my beauty sleep," said Tsunade. She turned and walked away, finding where they put her things in one of the master bedrooms. Shizune turned and bowed to everyone. "Yes, good night everyone." She quickly spun around and went to find her room as well. The men just watched them leave. "Well, today has been a fun day. By the way, thanks for the help, Tony," said Wade. "Don't worry about it. How could I tell that little girl no? Those beautiful blue eyes tell a sad story and all I want to do is try to make her smile," said Tony. Steve walked up to Tony and placed a hand on his shoulder. "So we going to go visit the children's hospital tomorrow then?" "Yes, and I'm help some of the families with their bills," said Tony as he walked away from everyone and head for the elevated. "Are you guys coming?" The others nodded their heads and left. "Well, Jiraiya old buddy, I don't know about you but I'm going to hit the hay," said Wade. Both men parted ways. Jiraiya heading to find Tsunade and maybe hope she'll allow him to sleep in the same bed as Wade found his room and jumped onto his bed, passing out. The next morning, singing and laughter could be heard coming from the kitchen. "I'm too sexy for my hat." "Too sexy, yeah," sang Deadpool. Naruto sat in a bar stool in the kitchen giggling and clapping as she watching her Uncle Wade dance around singing without his mask on. It appeared that whatever Tsunade did last night with her chakra healing, it had jump-started Wade's healing factor. "What time is it?" asked Tsunade standing in the living room looking at the two in the kitchen. "Morning sunshine. It is 8 a.m. Naruto came and woke me up saying no one would wake up. She also told me she was starving. So here we are making breakfast," said Wade. Tsunade yawned as she walking into the kitchen. But she stopped dead in her tracks after noticing that more of Wade's skin on his face had healed. "What the hell? Your skin healed some more. Nice, huh? It appears you somehow jump-started my healing factor to heal my skin," said Wade. As they talked, Shizune and Jiraiya had walked into the kitchen and saw that Wade's skin had healed some more. "Not looking too bad there, Wade," said Jiraiya. "Yeah, I know. Soon I'll be back hanging around the lingerie shows," said Wade. Jiraiya just gave him a preppy giggle. "Wade, do you two need any help in the kitchen?" asked Shizune. "Sure, could you set the table?" asked Wade. Just then the elevator doors opened. Stepping out was Tony, Thor, Bruce, Rogers, and two others they hadn't met just yet. A woman with red hair that's down to her shoulders wearing a tight black full-body bodysuit and two guns on her sides. Then a stocky man with a crew cut and sunglass with arrows on his back. "Ah, Widow baby, when are you going to give me a chance?" asked Deadpool. "Never," said Natasha Romanoff. "Wade, when are you going to stop asking?" said Clinton Barton. "When pugs fly or she marries Big Green," said Wade. This brought a blush to Natasha and Bruce. "Uncle Wade, who are those two?" asked Naruto as she looked at the two newcomers. "Well, princess, these two are your Uncle Clint and Auntie Natasha," said Wade. Natasha walked over to Naruto and smiled. "Who might you be, little one?" With a bright smile crossed Naruto's lips as she looked up to the woman before her. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki and I'm going to become the world's greatest kunoichi." "Is that right? It is nice to meet you, Naruto," said Natasha. Clint came up behind the woman and smiled at the little girl. "I'm Clint and it is nice to meet you too." "It is nice to meet you both, Auntie Natasha and Uncle Clint," said Naruto. As everyone gathered into the kitchen, when they saw Wade's face, "What the hell happened to you?" asked Tony. "Oh, this?" said Wade as he pointed to his face. "Well, you see, when Tsunade healed some of my skin last night, something happened and she jump-started my natural healing factor and now I'm becoming sexy again." Anime tears streamed down his cheeks. "Oh dear lord, he is going to be a nightmare to live with now," said Natasha as she rolled her eyes. "You say that now. But, after you have my cooking you'll be all over me," said Wade as he chuckled. "Uncle Wade, you're crazy," said Naruto. Tsunade pulled the milk and juice out of the fridge as Shizune grabbed the coffee pot and put it on the counter with several coffee mugs. Well everyone, how about we eat and get this day started? Said Tsunade. Everyone grabbed coffee as Naruto was only allowed juice and milk. She pouted, wanting to know what was so great about that brown stuff the adults were drink. They had their breakfast of blueberry pancakes and bacon and eggs. After everyone ate, Shizune and Steve cleaned up the table and did dishes. Naruto is 5 years old, right? Asked Tony. Yes, I'm 5. Why Uncle Tony? Asked Naruto. Well, at your age we send kids to school here, said Tony. Growing wide-eyed, Naruto looked at her Uncle Tony. They start ninja school here at 5? Tony just chuckled. No, it isn't ninja school. But, school for civilian kids. Everyone has to go. It would be good for her to go to school here, and after school we can tutor her and things from our home. Said Tsunade. That is a great idea. When I go back I can have sensei get everything she will need and would have learned in the academy and bring it back here for you guys. Said Jiraiya. Naruto looked from one adult to another. A frown slowly crossed her face. I don't think I like this idea. So it's settled. Today we will look into getting Naruto into a good school. Said Tony. Are we sending her to public or private school or Catholic school? Asked Wade. Natasha spoke up. I don't want her having to deal with crazy nuns. Tsunade raised an eyebrow to this. Nuns? Wade looks over at Tsunade. Yeah, nuns. No Catholic school for Naruto. I don't want those old bats hitting her with a ruler. Said Tony. Oh, hell no. No one is laying a finger on my granddaughter. Said Tsunade and Jiraiya unison. That statement caught Clint and Natasha attention. Both look at each other and back at Tsunade and Jiraiya. She is your granddaughter? Asked Natasha. Yes, said Jiraiya. How old are you two? Asked Clint. Tsunade smirked at his question. How old you do think we are? Well, you look to be about 30s and he looks to be about 45 to maybe 49 years old. Said Natasha. Jiraiya just busted out laughing. I'm 49 years old, the same age as my wife there. He pointed at Tsunade. You got to be kidding, right? There is no way in hell she is that old. Said Deadpool. Tsunade smirk. What if I am? Natasha looked at Tsunade. How do you stay looking so young? I drink good sake and eat right, said Tsunade. Jiraiya just laughed at her. It's a justice she knows that keeps her looking so young and makes her as strong as hell too. Jerk, said Tsunade as she puffed up her cheeks and crossed her arms looking away from them. Naruto giggled at her grandparents' antics. We're getting off track here. Now tell us about private schools and public school you have here. Said Shizune. Tony looked at Shizune and nodded. Well, private schools she will be around mostly rich kids, some foreign diplomat children, and a couple scholarship kids. Normally the private school kids are a little stuck up and think their shit don't stink. Okay, now what about public school? Asked Tsunade. Well, public schools you get a mix of kids. Some upper class families to very poor families. But the bad thing is that some of the public schools are understaffed and underfunded. So they don't get everything the rich kids do in private school. Said Tony. Is there any way to find something in the middle? Asked Jiraiya. Well, there is always private teachers. But I think you want her around children her age and not isolated. Said Tony. We could try a private school. I do want the best for her, and how the public schools sound they would do their best, but one person can only do so much with what they have. Said Jiraiya. Fine, it's settled. There is a private school just 2 blocks away. If you want we can go now. Said Tony. Wade looked at Tsunade and just nodded. Naruto looked at them and took off running. No, I want to stay at home and play all day with you guys. Cried Naruto. Thor stuck out his arm as she was running by. Don't worry, little one, we will go with you and see what this school is like. You will? Asked Naruto. You got it, half pint. We're not going to dump you there without seeing what they have to offer and if you like the place. Said Wade. Okay, fine. Naruto pouted as she looked at the adults in the room. Must fight cuteness. She is my kryptonite, said Wade as he fell to the floor crawling away from her. Everyone just laughed as Tsunade took Naruto from Thor and went and grabbed one of the backpacks Naruto has picked out yesterday. It was pink with Sailor Moon on it. Come on people, let's get a move on. The sooner I know this place is okay for her, the better I will feel, said Tsunade. Wade got up and ran to his room. He packed some more money into his Hello Kitty bag and put his mask back on and went and joined the others in the elevator. When they got downstairs they were met by Happy. Hey guys, need a ride anywhere today? Asked Happy. Nope, Happy we are just walking 2 blocks to that new private school they opened not that long ago," said Tony. "Oh, okay, let me know if you need anything," said Happy. Tsunade turned around and smiled at him. "Well, I'll need a ride back to Chinatown later to pick up the other herbs I need." "You got it. Just tell me when and we'll go," said Happy. With that said, everyone walked out of the building and turned left and walked down the sidewalk. Naruto held on to Tsunade for dear life as she looked at all the different people and buildings. They walked up to an old-looking school building that had a good-sized playground and there were several children out there play. Naruto, seeing this, grew excited. "Look, Ba-chan, there are kids my age playing," said Naruto. "Yes, there are. Let's go inside and get you set up to start school." "Okay, sweetie," said Tsunade. Nodding her head, Naruto watched with big eyes as the kids ran and played. She really just wanted to go join them. They entered the building and looked around. They saw a woman sitting at a small desk typing away at a computer. They walked up to her. "Yes, may I help you?" asked the woman. "Yes, we would like to take a tour of the school," said Tony. The woman looked up and her jaw just dropped. Standing before her were the Avengers and Deadpool. "Yes, of course." She stood up. "Please could you sign the guest book?" said the woman. They nodded and signed in. Even Naruto had fun signing her name. "Follow me this way to the headmaster's office," said the woman. They followed her down the hallway and along the way they saw the classrooms and children hard at work. Naruto was starting to bounce in Tsunade's arms. To the point Tsunade put her down so she could walk on her own. They came to the end of the hallway. To a large dark oak door. The lady knocked on the door. On the other side they heard a voice. "Come in." They walked in to find a man sitting at a large oak desk doing paperwork. "Yes, may I help you?" He looked up from his paperwork to see the large group of people. He raised a black eyebrow to the sight before him. "Yes, I would like a tour of your school. For I want to enroll my granddaughter into a nice school," said Tsunade. "You will not find any other school that is able to meet McKinley Heights Private School. We offer the best programs to ensure your child meets her true potential," said the headmaster. "That is good to hear, mister?" asked Tsunade. "Dr. Richard Smith," said Dr. Smith. "Dr. Smith, we are only looking for the best for Naruto," said Deadpool. "Forgive me for asking, where are the girl's parents?" asked Dr. Smith. "Naruto's parents died in an accident shortly after she was born," said Tsunade. "I am her grandmother and the man next to me with the white hair is her grandfather Jiraiya. The others are her aunts and uncles," said Tsunade. "I am sorry to hear that," said Dr. Smith. "We will be listed on Naruto's registration forms as emergency contacts and people to pick her up after school," said Tony. "Yes, I understand, Mr. Stark," said Dr. Smith. "Allow me to get you the forms you will need to fill out and also the forms of what it will cost for Naruto to attend school here." "Yes, that is fine," said Tony. "But before we sign anything we would like to have you show us around and explain what we are to look forward to and about the school uniform she will be required to wear." At this Naruto frowned. She didn't like the idea being forced to wear something that she might not like. "Follow me," said Dr. Smith. They followed him out of the office and though the school he told them of all the programs and what he expects from each student and how much it cost per year. Which didn't bother Tony whatsoever, he had already planned on paying for her schooling. When they came to the end of the tour they returned to Dr. Smith's office and Tsunade filled out the paperwork and Tony handed the man his credit card. Dr. Smith pointed them to a small store down the street to buy Naruto's uniform and other items. He was alright with her having her Sailor Moon bag. For she was just a kindergarten. They went to the little store. It was a mom and pop type business. "Hi and welcome to Odds and Ends," said the young woman from behind the counter. "I'm Jill. Please let me know if you need any help finding anything." "Yes, Jill, we need a school uniform for a kindergarten student for McKinley Heights," said Jiraiya. "You've come to the right place. Follow me this way," said Jill. Everyone followed the young woman and she led them to the far right back corner. She told Naruto to stand in front of the three-way mirrors and took her measurements and vanished back into the store. She came back after a couple of minutes with a black skirt and baby crew neck shirt and a black sweater and black knee-high socks and black Mary Janes. Naruto's eyes light up as she took the clothing and ran into the dressing room. Few minutes later she came back out in her school uniform. She spun around on her heels. They paid for the new school cloths, getting her several tops and skirts and even a couple pairs of pants for when it was too cold out to wear her skirt. along with 2 sweaters to make sure she always had an extra for you know how kids lose things. After that they made their way back home. It was the morning of Naruto's 9th birthday. Deadpool and the guys had several special gifts for Naruto. "Wake up sleepy bones," said Deadpool as he walked into Naruto's room. With a growl Naruto looked up at her Uncle Deadpool. "Uncle Wade, do you even know what time it is?" asked Naruto. "Yes, it's 6 a.m. on a Saturday. There are cartoons on the TV and everyone is here for your birthday," said Deadpool. Her eyes widened as she looked up at her clock next to her bed. It was 6 a.m. but it also said it was October 10th. Jumping up she hugged her uncle. Deadpool smiles and picks her up in the hug arms carrying her out to the others. "Look who's finally awake." Natasha and Pepper turn around and smile. "Morning everyone," said Naruto. "Happy birthday," said everyone in unison. Tsunade walked up to Naruto and kissed her on the cheek. "Happy birthday baby." "Thank you grandma," said Naruto. She smiled looking around at everyone. In a world far far away, Orochimaru was looking over blueprints of the Konoha. "Danzo, you are telling me this part of the wall is the weakest part so I can use my summoning snakes to break though in the attack?" He was pointing to the southeast wall. "That is correct Orochimaru-sama. They will not know what hit them," said Danzo. The old war hawk had ran to Orochimaru when he had found out that word had gotten out of his betrayal of the Konoha. All those he thought that would back him and shelter him had turned their backs on him. Much to his displeasure he had only one place to go to and he had to play lapdog till it was his time to carry out his own plan. The Hidden Sound Village was one of the larger underground bases of Orochimaru. If you could call it a village. The place was more of a freaking lab that he would do unholy experiments on people he had kidnapped or tricked into joining him. Even the fool Domino of the Land of Sound had granted Orochimaru to create the auto for him to grow in power. The fool just luster for power will be his downfall one day. Elsewhere, "Jiraiya, I want you to take these scrolls to Naruto," said Sarutobi. "Yes sensei," said Jiraiya. "I dearly do miss Naruto. But knowing she is with Tsunade I don't worry as much as I used to. I still am not able to believe that you both are her grandparents and Kushina was your daughter," said Sarutobi. Jiraiya just chuckled. "Well, believe it, I just wish I was there for Kushina more and that she would have thought of me more of a father than Ero Sennin," complained Jiraiya. "But that is besides the point. Who are the 3 you will be sending to receive training from Tsunadeheim?" Jiraiya looked up at his old sensei with wonder. "They are 3 that have somehow become outcast for different reasons," said Sarutobi as he pulled out 3 files and pushed them to his former student. The first one is none other the heiress of the Hyuga clan. Hyuga Hinata. Her father believes she will benefit from Tsunade's tutelage and feels it would be far safer for her as well. Hiyashi has heard rumors within his own clan the elders are trying to vanish the girl to a branch family or even worse. So, he had come to me one night after learning of Naruto's situation and pleaded with me to send her away," explained Sarutobi. Jiraiya thumbed through Hinata's file and found some signs the girl was being abused, and with that evidence before him he was unable to deny this request. "I see sensei. I do agree with him. It would be better for her to be with Naruto. She will become stronger and maybe kick those old bastards' asses." Sarutobi nodded and bridged his fingers together under his chin. "The second that will be sent will be one Haruno Sakura. The night Naruto departed for this new world was the night Sakura lost her mother for being foolish and breaking my law. Since then the girl has lived with the Yamamaka clan. But Inoichi has done all he is able to help. He feels this would benefit the girl in the long run." Jiraiya nodded as he peered through her file and saw the girl did suffer from depression and some social anxiety. "I'm sure Tsunade will know what to do with the girl," said Jiraiya as he closed the file and opened the last one. The one I will be sent is Rock Lee. The boy dreams of becoming a ninja. But I fear he doesn't have what it takes," said Sarutobi. Jiraiya arched a white eyebrow up and looked at the man before him. "What do you mean?" With a heavy sigh Sarutobi spoke. "The boy was born with tiny chakra coils and when the doctors tried to open them, they only made it worse. So, the boy has been Miyato Gai's apprentice for the past 3 years and has been learning Taijutsu. Don't get me wrong, the boy is a genius in hard work. But I felt maybe Tsunade will figure something out and maybe heal his coils. But it is a big if." Jiraiya stood there for a few minutes letting all of this soak in and settle before he spoke once more. So, you're telling me that these three will be saddled with my wife until they are 15 years old and you expect them to return here in one piece or maybe even alive after Tsunade is done with them? He just broke out in an insane laugh with tears running down his cheeks. Say a prayer for them to Kami. Sensei, for these kids will not know what hit them. The third just sweat dropped at his former student. What do you mean, Jiraiya? Shaking his head, he had a huge grin on his face. We have a little surprise for everyone when my wife returns. Until then I will not share with you that information. Before he could ask any more questions of Jiraiya, there was a knock on the door. Enter, called forth the Hokage's voice. Opening the door was Hiyashi Hyuga and following him is his daughter Hinata. After them was Miyato Guy and a mini clone of him was none other than Rock Lee. After them was Inoichi holding Sakura's hand as the girl looked around frightened. But before the door could be closed, Nara Shikaku stepped though, and flanking him was his son Shikamaru. The old leader raised a gray eyebrow to the newcomers. Tell me, Shikaku, what bring you here this early? Standing lazily before the Hokage, Shikaku placed his right hand behind his head and spoke. I have come here on request to be allowed to journey along with Jiraiya-sama to see firsthand the living environment that Naruto has been in for the past 4 years. As well, I request that my son would be allowed to go with as a training exercise. Sarutobi eyed the Nara clan head with a careful eye. What other reason would you want to go after all these years, Shikaku? I want to go to see what this new world is like. I want to know what we would ever face if those of that world found a way into ours. Said Shikaku. The Hokage sat there in silence for a brief moment before speaking once more. Very well. I want a full report when you return about the military styles of this other world. Before Shikaku could speak, a blinding rainbow light appeared before them all. There stood a man about 7 feet 3 and had dark skin. But what made all stare at him was his amber eyes and the 6 feet golden sword in his hands. Heimdall! Shouted Jiraiya in surprise. The large man smiled over at Jiraiya while the others wondered if this man was from the Kumo. Ah, Jiraiya. It is pleasure to see you once more. As it is you. What brings you here, Heimdall? Inquired Jiraiya. Lord Odin has requested that I grant you and the other safe passage to Earth. Odin doesn't really care for how you've been traveling back and forth for a while and has spoken to me in great detail of offering my assistance on your travels. Said Heimdall. Hinata had walked up to the large man in the golden armor and couldn't take her eyes off of him. His amber eyes intrigued her. Hello. Whispered Hinata. He looked down at the small girl with pale lavender eyes and smiled. Hello, little one. Hinata smiled up at the man before her. Hiyashi was beside himself in worry. Hinata had never done that before, and after what had happened when the Kumo ninja tried kidnapping her. She never left his side nor her guardian's side. When outside of the compound, Hinata, please come back over here, stated Hiyashi with a steel voice. Heimdall looked up and smiled at Hiyashi. She is fine, Hiyashi-san. There is no reason to worry. Heimdall kneeled down to Hinata and ruffed her hair. Naruto will be happy to meet you, little one. Hinata smiled and returned to her father. She looked up at him and smiled. I like him, father. He is very kind. Hiyashi looked down at his daughter and nodded his head. She is just like her mother. Kami rest her soul, thought Hiyashi. Hinata Hyuga, Rock Lee, Sakurai Haruno, Shikaku Nara, and Shikamaru Nara. We will be leaving here shortly. So, please say your goodbyes and gather what you brought with you. You needn't worry too much about clothing, for new outfits will be provided for you. As well, my wife Tsunade and her apprentice Shizune are waiting for us. Today is Naruto's 9th birthday and she will be excited to meet you all and happy to have new friends. Said Jiraiya. Everyone looked at Jiraiya and he smiled. After we arrive it will be a very busy day and Naruto will keep you kids on your toes. New York. Ba-chan, when will Gigi get here? Whined Naruto as she was running around her room looking for something to wear. Naruto, I told you he will be here soon. It takes time dealing with Sarutobi-sensei. Said Tsunade, as she got her twin daughters dressed for the day. Just get ready and help me with Ryoko and Kyoko. Both twins looked at their mother and smiled. Both Ryoko and Kyoko are 3 years old and both girls look like their mother when she was little, besides having platinum white hair like their father and their mother's chocolate honey eyes. Mommy, Ryoko and I are ready and Naruto seems to need more help than us. Said Kyoko. Naruto came running out of her room wearing a hunter green shirt with black mesh long sleeve shirt under it with a hunter green skirt with black mesh leggings and black calf-high combat boots with hunter green socks. She had black and silver bracelets on and her hair in twin ponytails with dark green hair extensions. She grinned at the twins. "Nice try, Auntie Kyoko. But I don't need any help." You could see the mischief in the twins' eyes as they pouted at their niece. "Naruto, you ruin our fun," said both girls unison. "Well, I don't care if she ruined your fun. All I care about is we are all ready to go when your father gets here," said Tsunade as she looked from her twins to Naruto. Just then Deadpool poked his head into the living room. Thor said Heimdall will be here soon with the others. Naruto ran over to her Uncle Wade. "What do you mean others?" asked Naruto with wonder sparkling in her eyes. Tsunade looked up at the masked man and shook her head at him. The toads," said Deadpool. "Oh," said Naruto as she pouted and went and sat down next to her twin aunts. Just then Thor, Tony, Steve come walking into the apartment. Naruto smiled as she saw her uncles come into the living room. All three girls light up seeing them. The twins run up to their adopted uncles and hug them. "Uncle Thor, Tony, Steve, you're here," yelled the girls unison. Naruto sat back just giggling at her aunties. "Still can't believe Ba-chan and Gigi had more kids," thought Naruto. Back in the leaf. "Okay, people, say your goodbyes, we are going," said Jiraiya. Each kid nodded and told their parent, guardian, and sensei goodbye. Shikaku nodded to the others as they gathered around Heimdall. Heimdall raised his sword and tapped it on the ground, and in a blinding light they were gone. "I hope this was the right decision," said Sarutobi as he sighed watching the others leave with Jiraiya. "Lord Hokage, I believe this will be for the best. They will come back stronger. From what you have said, what Jiraiya has told you of Naruto's training, she is on a different level from other ninjas," said Hiashi. "That she is. Her adopted family want to make sure she will survive once she comes home in 6 years. I just hope they accept the others," said the Hokage with a sigh. New York. Within seconds a bright light of colors appeared. Naruto's was grinning, for she knew that was her Uncle Heimdall. She jumped off the couch and ran up to him. "Uncle Heimdall," yelled Naruto as she jumped into his arms hugging him. Never once did his sword fall as he held onto the small blonde girl. "My dear Lady Naruto, I have missed you," said Heimdall as he smiled down at her. "I am glad I am able to see you on your birthday. As well, Lord Odin has sent several gifts for you," said Heimdall. "Gigi Odin sent me presents?" questioned Naruto as she looked up into Heimdall's amber eyes. He smiled as he placed her back down onto the ground as the twins ran up to him as well. They as well jumped into his arms hugging him. Both twins looked up to Naruto and copied all her actions. She didn't mind, she was just happy to have family, and she loved the twins, and the others never seemed to mind their antics. "Ryoko, Kyoko, don't worry, Lord Odin has a gift for you as well," said Heimdall. Heimdall gave the twins dolls and Naruto several large packages. "Odin has a stallion for you back in Asgard that he wishes for you to take back with you when you return home." "Thank you, Uncle Heimdall," said Naruto. "I can't wait to go visit Gigi Odin again soon. He would be glad to see you again. But I must take my leave," said Heimdall, and with that he vanished. As Naruto was watching the twins, something pink caught her attention. She quickly sidestepped and saw 4 other kids and another adult with her Gigi. "Gigi, who are they?" Jiraiya smiled at Naruto. "Happy birthday, my dear. They are going to spend the next 6 years training with you." Naruto looked from the kids to the grown man and smiled and walked over to them all. She bowed and grinned looking at them. "Greetings. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Senju." She kept her grin as she introduced herself. "She knows who her parents are?" asked Shikaku. "Also, why does she carry the Senju name?" Shikaku looked from Jiraiya to Tsunade. "She is out niece. Her mother was our older sister Kushina," said Ryoko and Kyoko in unison. Both twins stood next to Naruto giggling. "We are Ryoko and Kyoko Senju. Our parents are Tsunade Senju and Jiraiya." Everyone looked at the twins in shock. Naruto just shook her head giggling as Deadpool popped back into the living room. "I see you have met the terrible twosome," said Deadpool as he picked up Ryoko and spun her up in the air. Ryoko giggled as Kyoko watched on. "Me next," demanded Kyoko. Everyone just laughed at the twins. They did enjoy all the family around them. "Are you going to introduce yourselves?" asked Naruto as she looked at the others. I am Shikaku Nara and this is my son Shikamaru, said Shikaku as he pushed a boy forward with the same pineapple ponytail and black hair with black eyes. He was in ways a mini version of his father. I am Rock Lee and it is a pleasure to meet you Naruto, said Lee as he rushed forward and shook Naruto's hand. It's nice to meet you Lee, said Naruto as the other's sweat dropped. I am Hinata Hyuga, said Hinata in a shy whisper as she hid behind Lee. Naruto smiled at her. I am Sakurai Haruno, said the girl with pink hair. She looked over at the others and back at Naruto. It is a pleasure to meet you all. Allow me to introduce my uncles. The name holding the twins is Wade Wilson, but he is also known as the Merc with the mouth Deadpool. The man with black hair standing next to the couch with the glowing chest is Tony Stark. He is also known as Iron Man. Next to him is Steve Rogers. He is also known as Captain America. Next to him is Thor. He is known in Norse mythology as the god of thunder. But he is the son of Odin of Asgard, said Naruto as she introduced her uncles. They are all my family. They are my uncles. Mind you, there are more for you all to meet. But you'll meet them all soon. Everyone just nodded their heads. So, are we going for lunch before Naruto's party today or what? Asked Tsunade. Yeah, yelled Naruto and the twins in unison. Hinata, Sakurai, come with me. Let's get you some different outfits before we leave. Ba-cha, you got Gigi's credit card? Asked Naruto. Yeah, why sweetie? Answered Tsunade. We need to go shopping after we eat. The boys need new cloths and so do the girls and uniforms for school Monday, said Naruto as Jiraiya paled some. As Tsunade just grinned at her husband. You do owe us a shopping trip dear. Jiraiya just hung his head. Yes, dear. As anime tears streamed down his cheeks. Shikaku raised an eyebrow to what was said and looked at Naruto. You want Shikamaru to stay here with you as well? Yes, I do, said Naruto as she grinned and grabbed both girls' hands and dragged them off. He laughed at the young girl's antics. Well Shikamaru, you want to stay? The boy sighed and looked at his father. Dad, it would be too troublesome. But it would be interesting to see a normal day here is. Tony walked up to the father and son and smiled. I see your son is lazy. But he is a genius. I wouldn't mind taking him under my wing. Shikaku raised his eyebrow. You're Tony Stark, right? Yes, I am also the guy that built this arc reactor in my chest, said Tony as he pointed to the glowing arc reactor. If you like later I'll show you my workshop. Both Naras nodded their heads. Naruto pulled both girls into her room. Before them was a queen-size bed with a baby blue fading off to purple fading to pink. Her walls painted in rainbows with the village symbol and her family crest on the other 3 walls. She ran to the double doors painted black with white writing on them. Both girls looked at it and quickly read it before Naruto opened the doors. Swift as the wind, sly as the devil's tongue. Fox lies in the darkness, awaiting its times. Moonlight its only cover, till the sunlight shines once more. Who wrote that Naruto? Asked Sakura. Naruto looked up at the poem on her door. Oh, that? I wrote it on class last year. It's pretty, whispered Hinata. Thank you. Anyways, what color do you like? Asked Naruto as she opened the double doors to her closet. Both girls came up behind her. This is your closet? Asked Sakura. Yeah, Ba-chan loves to shop and is always coming home with new outfits for me and my twin aunts, said Naruto. I like midnight blue and purple, said Hinata. It's like red and indigo, said Sakura. Naruto grinned and walked over to a midnight purple shirt and black mesh long sleeve shirt and pulled out a midnight purple skirt and mesh leggings and turned to Hinata. Here, these should fit. You can change in the bathroom hooked to my room. Can't miss it. Hinata took the outfit and slowly nodded her head and went to find the bathroom to get ready. Naruto turned back to her cloths and found a crimson shirt and bright red long sleeve mesh shirt and crimson skirt and bright red mesh leggings. She turned to Sakura. Here, these should fit you. Just go out of my room and the door across from my room is another bath you can get ready in. Sakura nodded her heads and took the clothes and went and got ready. Let's see. What kind of shoes? Said Naruto to herself. She saw her other boots and grabbed them, turned the light off in her closet and closed the doors behind her. She walked over to her bed and set the boots next to her bed and set them down. Turning around, she walked over to her dresser and opened the top drawer and pulled out 2 pairs of boot socks. One was crimson and the other midnight purple. Just then both girls returned and she smiled at them. Here are some socks to put on with the boots. She pointed to the two calf-high pairs of black boots. Naruto? Said Sakura. Yeah? Answered Naruto. Is this ninja armor mesh we are wearing? Asked Sakura. Yeah, it is. But it's a lot stronger than the mesh armor from home. Uncle Tony, Bruce, and Fury helped me develop a new try of fabric that will stand a gunshot, kunai, fire, and so on. I have even sold this fabric to the military and other government agencies to save people's lives, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper too. Said Naruto. Don't worry, tomorrow I'll have Jarvis get your measurements and we'll be making mesh armor for you as well as the boys. The two girls put on their socks and boots and followed Naruto back to the living room. Ba-chan, we are ready. Okay, the others will be meeting us at the Golden Kitsune for lunch. Said Steve. Let's go then. Jiraiya, get Kyoko. Wade, please take Ryoko for me. Said Tsunade as she grabbed her huge bag. Both men nodded their heads, picking up the girls. You know, Jiraiya, you're a lucky man. Maybe when Naruto returns I'll go along with to find me a hottie kunoichi. Said Deadwood with a grin. Also, Tsunade has made me look more handsome. Everyone just laughed at Deadpool. Everyone walked over to the elevator. Shikaku and kids looked at the two silver doors before them. Both doors slide open and before them was a large black box. Come on, let's go, said Naruto as she walked into the elevator and others followed behind. She pushed the lobby button. As then the doors shut and they went to the lobby. Uncle Tony is Happy waiting for us? Asked Naruto. Yes, you know Happy wouldn't miss your birthday, said Tony as they walked into the lobby to see Happy standing there. Hey Naruto. Happy birthday, kiddo, said Happy as he hugged Naruto. Uncle Happy, I'm happy to see you, said Naruto as she hugs him. The twins ran up to and hugged his legs. Uncle Happy, they sang together. Hey kiddos, you two being good today? Asked Happy as he smiled at them. They both giggled, nodding their heads. They made their way to the large SUV. Shikaku stopped in his tracks and looked at the vehicle before him. What is that thing? Thor looked at him and smiled. This, my friend, is a SUV. Their iron carriage without horses. Shikaku slowly nodded his head, followed the others and slowly got into the SUV. The kids were excited about riding in it. They took off for Chinatown. The kids looked out the windows at all the tall buildings. Wow, this place is huge, said Lee. Yeah, it is. But there are a lot of cool places to see, said Naruto as she smiled at the others. Where are all the trees and wildlife? Asked Shikaku. You'll find all the trees in Central Park or when you leave the city. As for wildlife, there are rats all over in the zoo, said Deadpool. Zoo? Asked Hinata. What is a zoo? A place you go see lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, said Deadpool. Naruto just giggled. Uncle Wade, don't scare them, said Naruto, trying not to giggle at his joke. Maybe tomorrow Uncle Wade can take us to the zoo, said Naruto as she pouted and used "puppy eye no jutsu" on him. Ah, the cuteness. Must fight the cuteness, said Deadpool, all dramatic. Just then the twins joined in on the fun. Ah, I'm losing feeling. Captain, I'm going down. Avenge me. Sure, we'll go tomorrow, said Steve. It will be fun and Wade will be happy to come with. After a while they arrived in Chinatown and everyone got out of the SUV and walked a couple of blocks till they arrived at the Golden Kitsune. I love their ramen, it's the closet I have found to eat Chiraku's, said Naruto. Ah, Naruto, welcome back, said a young woman from the hostess desk. Hi Jade-chan, said Naruto. If you all would follow me. The others have already arrived, said Jade. They followed her back to a large room with several tables and everyone was there. Fury eyed the newcomers. He seemed a little surprised to see another ninja with Jiraiya. Who are the newcomers? Asked Fury. This is Shikaku Nara, his son Shikamaru. Then there is Hinata Hyuga, Rock Lee, and Sakura Haruno, said Naruto. The kids will be staying to train with me, Uncle Fury. Fury nodded his head as the others smiled on. Their lunch was loud and everyone had a good time. Afterwards they all went shopping and got the kids everything they needed. Naruto had a blast because Lee didn't want to part with his outfit but did as he was told. As the weekend passed, the kids enrolled in McKinley Heights. They were all shocked by what the kids in this world learned about. Shikamaru showed his dad the history book and how it described their wars. Needless to say, Shikaku was shocked and a little sickened by this. He had asked Tony for books on the wars his son had shown him and he wanted to take back home with him to show the Hokage. Shikaku, I build weapons for war and mass destruction. My family had always been in the war business, said Tony. I was part of the Super Solider project that Stark's father was part of during World War II. At the beginning that had me as the poster boy till I found out my friends had been taken captive and had Stark's father drop me off in enemy territory to rescue them. After that I was placed with my own team. Till the day I faced Red Skull from Hydra and was frozen until a few years ago, said Steve. In a way all of us in S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers, we are all tied to each other in one way or another, stated Dr. Bruce Banner. Shikaku nodded his head as he listened to the others. Naruto was sitting at the kitchen table finishing her homework from school and was waiting on her Uncle Banner to start with her collage classes she was taking. Uncle Banner, are we going over my physics homework before I email it to my teacher? Yes, we are. Also, how are your other classes in design and robotics going? Asked Banner. Pretty good. Uncle Tony had been a great help in those other 2 classes. Before I forget, how is the new mesh armor fabric working when you Hulk out? Inquired Naruto. The fabric is working out pretty good. I haven't destroyed any of the clothes you have made for me. Just funny how everyone just looks at the Hulk in a suit at times, said Banner. You have developed a new mesh armor, Naruto? Questioned Shikaku. The blonde girl nodded her head. Yes, I wanted something stronger than the mesh armor we wear and also something strong than Ambu armor. You see this long sleeve I have on? He nodded his head. This is the new mesh armor I developed along with Uncle Tony, Banner, and Fury. I am planned on send a lot of it back home to be sold and made into armor for the ninjas. Gigi had been talking to Sarutobi Gigi for me about it. Inside the fabric there is a new form of metal along with chakra metal, so you're able to reinforce it. This new metal is like chakra metal but a lot stronger. I forgot what it was called. But it is something we have never seen back home, explained Naruto. Who would have thought this little girl would become a genius like her father? Thought Shikaku. The only sad thing is that I will have to sell the fabric under a surname. For no one will buy something the Kyūbi brat made. But the company will be called Lunar Kid Designs. I don't think anyone would put 2 and 2 together. Anyways, I'm not there and Sarutobi Gigi will put all the money in an account for me till I return, so I don't have to worry so much, said Naruto. That is well thought out, Naruto, and I'm proud of you, said Shikaku. After 1 month the other kids will be joining Naruto in her collage studies. I know it might seem rushed, but we only have until her 15th birthday to make sure she can handle anything. Because after she finishes these studies she will be going into our version of the war room that Professor Xavier helped us create, so she can train battling against all type of creatures and ninjas that we got from a bingo book Jiraiya gave us, said Tony. I really don't mind this because I have everything set up that I still have a normal childhood, said Naruto. Yes, everyone has me and Spidey to thank for that, said Deadpool as he sat down next to Naruto. We sometimes kidnap her from the others and take her out to have fun and on-hands training. Needless to say the Green Goblin doesn't like her too much. The Green who? Questioned Shikaku. The Green Goblin is a super villain that Spider-Man faces a lot, and Naruto got annoyed with him making fun of her whiskers and she tried putting a kunai with an explosive tag up his butt. She blew up his hoverboard and set his butt on fire. We didn't see him for a good 6 months after that, said Deadpool. Well, he was a jerk. I think my whisker makers make me look cute, said Naruto as she puffed up her cheeks crossing her arms. Just then Shikaku noticed the choker Naruto had on. Are you wearing the village symbol, Naruto? Yeah, I made this choker just a week ago. It's another fabric I am testing for the ninja armor. The metal is that new one and I added 4 silver chains. First chain holds a Celtic cross, second my dog tags from SHEILD, third this blue stone Ba Cha Gia gave me. Fourth, a Gothic cross with a blue and red rose around it. The roses represent my and the Kyūbi's chakra, explained Naruto. Have been able to use the Kyūbi's chakra? Asked Shikaku. With a sheepish smile and slight blush Naruto nodded her head. Yeah, it was an accident in the war room and Uncle Banner had to Hulk out to stop me from losing control. Yes, the Kyūbi's chakra coated her and it left me with a nasty burn. Even in my Hulk form, said Banner. But she has gotten better control of it in the past year, said Tony. Yeah, Professor Xavier had done some one-on-one training with me. It really did help, and the Kyuubi isn't a bad fox. He was being controlled by an Uchiha," said Naruto as Shikaku looked to be in a form of shock. "So, it truly was the Uchiha's fault for what happened the day you were born," said Shikaku. "No, just one named Madara Uchiha," said Naruto. "I do not know if the others had any part in it." Just then Shizune, Tsunade, and Jiraiya came walking into the kitchen. "Well, I should inform you that the Uchiha clan has been eliminated by Itachi. He only left his little brother Sasuke. Last I heard Sasuke was going to come here to train. But, it appears he didn't do too well with his psych review. That Inoichi felt Sakurai would benefit better from this," said Shikaku. "So, my great uncle was right," said Tsunade. She had a smug smile on her face. He always believed that Bastard was alive and that the Uchiha clan would be their own downfall. "Well, this kid Sasuke is a royal brat. The elders and civilian council kiss his ass along with the Wild Village. He would have been a lot of trouble here for you, Lady Tsunade," said Shikaku. "Oh no, he wouldn't," said Deadpool. "I would have made his brother the last of his clan if that kid would have come and been to much drama. I know I don't like hurting kids, but I would have found someone to handle him." Deadpool had an evil smirk on his face that you could see through his mask. "Uncle Wade, you would have sent him to Uncle Fury with a bow, or to Uncle Logan," said Naruto, giggling. "Ah, Logan, he would have made mincemeat out of him. For Fury, I think he would have just froze him," said Deadpool. The others just nodded as Shikaku looked at them with surprise. The month went by pretty fast and Heimdall had returned to guide Jiraiya and Shikaku back home. Along with them they had about 100 sealing scrolls filled with the new ninja armor and books on this world. "Lady Naruto, during your Christmas break you have been invited with everyone to Asgard to see your grandparents," said Heimdall. Naruto grinned. She couldn't wait to see them. "Thank you, Uncle Heimdall. I can't wait to go visit and train with the others." Heimdall nodded his head and turned to Jiraiya and Shikaku. "Are you two ready?" Both men nodded their heads and said their goodbye. With a flash of bright rainbow light they vanished. Hidden Leaf. In the middle of the Hokage office, Sarutobi was leaning back in his chair talking with Hiashi. "I'm sorry Hiashi, I still haven't gotten any word yet on how your daughter and the others are doing." Before Hiashi could say anything, a bright blinding rainbow light appeared before them. There stood Heimdall with Jiraiya and Shikaku. "Good afternoon, Lord Sarutobi. I have returned the others and must take my leave," said Heimdall. "Good afternoon, Heimdall, and thank you for returning them home safely, and safe travels to you," said Sarutobi. Heimdall bowed his head and vanished from whence he came. Hiashi quickly stood up and rushed over to the two men. "How is my daughter?" He had a worried expression on his face and bags under his eyes. It appeared to them he had not been sleeping well during the past month. "She is fine, Hiashi. We have brought you pictures of her and what she has been learning so far," said Jiraiya as Shikaku just shook his head. "Troublesome. Sarutobi-sensei, we have brought a lot of things with us. Also, Naruto has finished 2 types of fabric for the new ninja and Anbu armor," said Jiraiya. "So, we are going through then with Lunar Kid designs?" asked the aged leader. "That is right, sensei. We have over 100 seal scrolls and about 80 of them hold the fabric, and she sent over 800,000 units of fabric in a rainbow of colors. Yes, she made sure about 100,000 units of black, silver, and gray each," said Jiraiya. "I will get the best seamstresses on the job to begin making the clothing for sale," said Sarutobi. Jiraiya pulled a small lavender scroll out and handed it to Hiashi. "There are pictures of your daughter and the letters she wrote to you every day before we left. At this moment she is in school with the other kids, and Massager slugs will bring letters and photos to you once a month, and be sure to have what you want to send to here in a scroll for them to take back." Hiashi slowly nodded his head and unrolled the sealed scroll and unsealed several photos of Hinata hugging Naruto and the others. "She looks happy." A sad smile crossed his lips. During the fall-owing months, a new ninja special shop sprung up in the Konoha, and the Suna ninjas across the elemental nations were demanding clothing and armor from Lunar Kid designs. Even the samurai were looking into the clothing line. Needless to say, demand for more fabric was coming every 3 weeks. New York. Naruto had opened several of the gifts Odin had sent her, and there was 15 scrolls that Kushina had left with him about Fuinjutsu. Each scroll held about 20 different books and scrolls and brushes from Uzu with chakra ink and normal ink to learn with. The first set of books were for beginners to the very last set for masters in Fuinjutsu. Tsunade was ever shocked to see several of her grandmother's scrolls on Fuinjutsu in the mix and several she was never to even finish. Naruto sweet, do your best to carry on in our Uzumaki family specialty, said Tsunade as she kissed Naruto on the forehead. I promise Ba-chan, I'll do my best to learn all of this. I am the last of the Uzumaki clan and Namikaze clan as well. I'm just glad I'm not the last of the Senju clan, said Naruto as she smiled looking over at her twin aunties sleeping on the couch. Maybe when they are older I can teach them Fuinjutsu. I dunno sweetie, I have no skill for it. But, Jiraiya Ide master, so we will see if they get his skill or mine, said Tsunade as she looked over at her sleeping girls. My time flies when you're having fun. It was 2 weeks till Naruto's 15th birthday and everyone was planning a blowout party for her. During this time Sarutobi had somehow talked Tsunade to return as the new Hokage of the village. But, before she took over she needed to clean house. The elders needed to go and with Jiraiya setting up a secret spy network in the village. They had everything they need to try the old farts for treason. Sarutobi planned to give them options to either step down or face the executioner block. During these 6 years each one of the future ninjas have grown and changed. Naruto grew in height. She had a lean warrior's body and stood at a good 5 feet 9 without her heeled boots. Her hair reached down to her calves and she now mostly wore it in a high ponytail. But, there were times she had it in twin pigtails. She had about 5 inches of the tips of her hair dyed in a rainbow of colors along with her hair extensions she loved to add in. Her style had stayed mostly a punk goth look. She wore her normal mesh long sleeves and leggings under her shirts and skirts and cargo pants she loved. She now wore boots that went to her knee and thigh. She had reinforced the leather with her armor material to know it would hold up in battle. She had added more bracelets made of the new metal her and Tony had developed. They worked to block kunai, swords and anything else. This morning Naruto woke up to her twin aunties jumping on her bed. Come on Naruto, today is graduation day for all of us, said Ryoko as Kyoko nodded her head. All the kids had graduated high school and college early, making them genius in this world. Many companies tried hiring them but they all refused, stating to be working for Tony Stark. Which wasn't a lie but more of bending the trust. He did pay them so no one would question. They spent their days developing their ninja skills and developing new and different weapons they could use when they returned home. Naruto crawled out of bed. Today was her and the others' graduation day from college. She picked up the twins and carried them to the closet. So, girls, what color are we going with today? Both girls looked at Naruto and grinned. Ryoko had on a hot pink dress with matching mesh long sleeve and leggings and Kyoko had on neon blue dress with matching mesh long sleeve and leggings. We think you should wear your black and red corset with red mesh long sleeve with your black and red skirt with red leggings. Top it off with that black sweater duster you have, said both girls in unison. Naruto smiled at both the girls. Nice pick. But, is there a reason for the corset top? She eyed both twins as they grinned at her. Nope, there isn't. We just want you to look nice, said the twin in unison. Well, I could always wear my black cargo pants with that top as well, said Naruto, as both twins shocked their heads no. Alright, you two win. Go get my black boot socks and take these knee-high boots and put next to my bed while I get ready. Both twins grinned and did as they were told and ran off. Naruto gathered said outfit and went and got ready. When she came out of her bathroom, setting on her bed was her choker, her bracelets in red, black, and silver and her silver hoop earrings. She finished getting dressed and put on a neutral lip gloss on and came out to find the others already dressed and ready to go. Wow, Naruto, do you have a hot date or something? Teased Hinata and Sakura. You look every love, Naruto. A youthful beauty as yourself should never hide from the warm rays of the sun, said Lee as she gave her the nice guy pose. Troublesome blonde. You look very nice and we're going to have to fight the guys off you today, said Shikamaru. Naruto just giggled. I didn't pick this outfit today. I asked the twins what to wear and this is what they chose for me. The twins ran by giggling, looking up at Shikamaru. Just then they saw Tsunade come running by. She stopped dead in her tracks with Shizune behind her. Both women eyed Naruto and grinned. Damn brat, you look hot. What made you choose that outfit? Asked Tsunade. The twins picked it out, said Naruto, blushing at her Ba-chan and Nei-chan. I like it and you're going to knock them dead when we return home in a few days," said Tsunade. "Naruto, you look beautiful, don't be so shy about it," said Shizune. The two women looked at what the others had on. Hinata had a lavender blouse with black vest over it with a black mesh long sleeve and a black and lavender skirt with black leggings and leaven-derived boot socks and knee-high boots. Hinata's midnight black-blue hair had grown past her butt. She had the same choker as Naruto but for it to only have 3 chains on it. The first chain had a Celtic cross, second her dog tags and third a Gothic cross with a lavender and blue rose wrapped around it. She had stud earrings and bracelets like Naruto. Sakura had on a red single-sleeve top with a black long-sleeve mesh shirt and red skirt with black leggings and the same matching choker but for her Gothic cross to have a red and pink rose wrapped around it. She had on hoop earrings. Sakura had allowed her hair to grow out past her butt as well. She had a couple red highlights in it. Lee was wearing a green t-shirt with a black cross on it with a black long-sleeve mesh shirt under it. Black cargo pants with the armor leggings. Black combat boots. He had on the same choker with the Gothic cross had a green rose wrapped around it. Lee had his hair shaved on the sides and the top a little long that he had it spiked up. He had on black fingerless gloves with studs on the knuckles. Shikamaru had on hunter green button-up shirt half-button so you could see his long-sleeve black mesh shirt under it. He had on black cargo pants and the mesh armor leggings with black combat boots. He also wore the same choker and the Gothic cross had a gray rose wrapped around it. He had his ears pieces with several studs and his hair had grown out that he wore in a ponytail and he also had black fingerless gloves with studs on the knuckles. Each kid had found a style they liked and could move freely in as they fought. The day was eventful. All 4 teens had got their doctrine in robotics, design, physics, metal crafting and several others. They had even ranked high in all forms of karate, martial arts, boxing. Pretty much any form of fighting style out there. Naruto and Shikamaru both liked street fighting. For anything goes and it was brutal at times at a couple of fight clubs they found. Lee loved Brazilian kickboxing, Muay Thai kickboxing. With the help of Dr. Banner, Tsunade was able to grow and develop Lee's character coils. The boy was a master at speed and flexibility and now able to do jutsus. He was now unstoppable. Hinata had developed a new form of her family jutsu that worked more with her flexibility and water affliction, making the Hyuga princess one you do not mess with. As well, she had studied under Tsunade and Shizune to become a medical nin. Shakira showed more towards being able as a medical nin and weld super strength. So Tsunade taught her how to fight in her style and the girl excel in fly colors. Deadpool had trained the kids as mercenaries and silent kills, which shocked everyone for the guy never shuts up. Along with any type of weapon out there. Kenjutsu was the best the kids had ever seen in their lives and they had all learned from him how to use a sword. He had gifted each of them swords that best fit them. In chapter we will go over what sword they got. Tony trained them all in his field and in his line of work with the aid of Pepper. Natasha trained the girls in seduction and assassination, where she did teach the boys the same. But she also told them all not to let anyone know of these skills for it will entail more dangerous missions for them. Clint taught them how to use long-range weapons and stealth. Steve had them tracking with the help of Logan. Naruto and Hinata excelled at tracking. Banner trained them in his field as well as planning and how to make oneself vanish from the public eye. Thor was combat training in hand-to-hand battle. Fury trained them in all types of combat and strategic, mind games and interrogation, how to be leaders of soldiers and soldiers themselves. He loved to send the kids into battle they were as hidden ace. They went from heavy hitters to demolition to whatever was called of them. With Naruto's Fuinjutsu she could create an explosion seal or tag out of anything and everything. Fury was sad to see the kids go but knew their time was almost done. But happy to know Deadpool would be out of his way for a while. It was the day of Naruto's birthday and everyone was packed and ready to go. The Avengers along with Fury decided to tag along to Naruto's home world and check out the ninja life. They had a huge party for her and at 8 p.m. Heimdall had shown up to pick everyone up. "Lady Naruto, are you ready to return?" asked Heimdall. She looked at her friends and family. She had a sad smile. "Should I even return to that hell I once called home?" thought Naruto. "Kid, you know you don't have to return. You could stay here away from all those that have hurt you in the past," said Kurama. "No, Kurama. I must return and face my demons. May those people see me for me, not see me as you," said Naruto. "Very well kid, I will aid you as much as I am able to," said Kurama as he closed his eyes and went back to sleep. "Yes, I'm ready Uncle Heimdall. Let's go home guys," said Naruto. "Sakura, you're moving in with me at the Senju clan home." Sakura smiled at her new sister. "Sure, Naruto, I wouldn't have it any other way. That goes for you Lee. I'm not having you live on your own anymore," said Naruto. "Thank you Naru-chan," said Lee as he smiled at his sister. Hinata just giggled. "Troublesome," was all Shikamaru could say. "Uncle Wade, is you sure you can do this? We don't have a lot of things we have here in cars. Planes are the main things we do not have," said Naruto. "Oh yeah, I got this, and Heimdall old buddy old pal said he would keep me with all the new music that comes out in guns," said Deadpool as he grinned. He had his mask off. His skin had healed a lot that it wasn't like he would win a Freddy Krueger contest anymore. He no longer freaked out the twins. Everyone gathered next to Heimdall and Naruto held Ryoko in her arms as Tsunade had Kyoko. "Bye everyone, we love you and come visit us," said Naruto as a blinding colorful light engulfed them and they vanished. Konoha Kyūbi no Yoko Festival. Villagers and ninjas alike were out partaking in the festival as a bright blinding light appeared in front of the Hokage tower. All the ninjas rushed to the tower in fear of something bad had happened. There in front of the tower stood Naruto, Shikamaru, Hinata, Lee, Sakura, Tsunade, Ryoko and Kyoko, Shizune, Deadpool, and the Avengers. "We have arrived. Please be safe Lady Naruto. Thor, I will return in 1 month's time to pick you all up and like I promised to bring Deadpool his music," said Heimdall. "Pepper and Fury will have everything ready for you Heimdall," said Tony. With a nod of his head, Heimdall had vanished and returned back to Asgard. The third Hokage along with Jiraiya come walking out of the tower as his personal Anbu team appeared next to him. "Stand down. We are here to welcome Naruto back home along with Tsunade and Shizune." Neiko nodded her head and stepped back next to Inu and Tortoise and Raven. The four Anbu stood on just watching the children in the group along with the others they did not know. "Gigi, Sarutobi Gigi," yelled Naruto as she ran over to the two men with Ryoko still in her arms. She hugged Sarutobi Gigi and grinned at him. "I'm back old man, did you miss me? I missed you more than you think my little Heim," said Sarutobi as he hugged both girls. Ninjas that were still in the village lined the rooftops as the villagers all began gather around the tower. From Genin to Jonin stood there watching what was happening. Their leader, their Hokage, had addressed the blonde girl as Naruto Heim. The only Naruto the older ninjas and villagers knew was the Kyuubi brat. Surely this young girl wasn't her. The third had let the young girl go and saw the crowd of people all around. With a tried sigh he smiled at Naruto. "My dear girl, I guess it's time to let them know you're back." "Yeah, I guess so," said Naruto as she turned around. "Gigi, please tell them who my parents are." He looked shocked at her. "Are you sure about that?" "Yes, I am," said Naruto as Ryoko hugged her tight. "Tell them Gigi. My Naruto is strong enough to kick their asses," said Ryoko from Naruto's arms. He raised an eyebrow to the little girl and shook his head. "Fine, follow me. We will go to the roof to announce your homecoming." They followed him inside and up to the roof. During this time the crowd grew more as all the clans had now shown up. Hiyashi stood in the crowd with his clan. Once he had heard of a rainbow light he knew his daughter had returned. "Lord Hiyashi, are you sure Lady Hinata is back?" asked a branch family member. "Yes, my daughter has returned and we must welcome her home along with the others," said Hiyashi as he held Hanabi in his arms. "Nate-chan is back?" she asked. "Yes, Nate-chan is back my dear," he answered. The small girl smiled. She had missed her sister during those 6 years and had grown to dislike the elders for always being so mean about her sister. 3 spotlights shined up to the roof showing the third Hokage standing with a group of people. He had done a couple hand signs to make his voice carry as he spoke. "People of the Konoha, I have grand news to share with you all this evening. 10 years ago several people were spirited away to a place unknown. Well, tonight on the 10 years they have been gone they return," said the Hokage. "Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Senju has returned along with her grandmother Tsunade Senju along with Shizune," said the Hokage. He stood there for a couple of minutes as he heard the crowd talked amongst themselves. How can she be the Namikaze and a Senju? Asked one of the villagers. Tsunade and Jiraiya both stepped forward this time. She is our granddaughter. Her mother was our daughter Kushina Uzumaki, said Tsunade. Her father was my late student and our fourth Hokage Minato Namikaze, said Jiraiya. I knew Kushina was going to have a baby by Minato. The crowd grew silent as they looked up at the two Sannin before them. Before anyone asks, I did the blood test myself. She is Jiraiya and mine granddaughter, said Tsunade. But Lady Tsunade, the Kyūbi is only playing tricks on you, making you believe it is your family and of our late fourth Hokage, said a man from the civilian council. Really, you jackass, don't you know the difference from a sealing scroll and a kunai sealed within the scroll? Does the scroll become the kunai once it's sealed? Asked a pissed off Tsunade. No, it doesn't. It is just a scroll. Naruto is just the scroll that the Kyūbi is sealed in, said Hiyashi Hyuga. Everyone turned and looked at him. I was there with my late wife when Minato Namikaze married Kushina Uzumaki. We knew shortly after she was with child. If you look closely at Naruto, you see her father and mother in her. She is a female clone of Minato, said Hiyashi. As head of the Hyuga clan, I recognize Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Senju as the rightful heiress of the Namikaze's clan and Uzumaki clan. Other clan heads also stepped forth and did the same. It was shocking and overwhelming to the villagers. Never in their wildest dreams did they ever think this would happen. We of the civilian council do not recognize her as the fourth heiress, said the same jackass. Well, your word means nothing, when the Fire Lord already recognized her, said Jiraiya. The man just paled as he heard that. As well, the civilian council is under arrest for stealing from Namikaze trust fund they left their daughter. As well from the Uzumaki and Senju, said the third Hokage, as Anbu surrounded the members and took them away. Everyone was in shock. A woman with black hair stepped forward. Is that why Danzo and elders along with the civilian council told us that Naruto holds the nine tail? So, they could steal from a child and in hopes of the villages to kill her? Naruto stepped forth and looked at everyone. Greed and hatred are an ugly thing. My father had planned to force the elders along with Danzo into retirement. But they couldn't have that. They coveted their power too much, and what way would be best to get back at their late fourth Hokage? But to have the villages he gave his and my mother's life for to protect while the Kyūbi rampaging in the village. To have everyone one of you attack and hurt me. I was grateful for that day 10 years ago when we had been spirited away. For that day Deadpool had saved my life and reunited me with my Bachan Tsunade. No matter how much I wish to blame each and every one of you, to hate each and every one of you, I am not able to. You only did what you believed to be right. You were blind from the real truth, said Naruto. Both Tsunade and Jiraiya placed a hand on their granddaughter's shoulder and smiled at her. You have done us proud, said Jiraiya. Both Ryoko and Kyoko grinned and looked at each other. You will be nice to our niece or we will make your lives a nightmare with Uncle Deadpool's help, said the twins in unison. Everyone paled and looked up at the twin girls. Sarutobi looked at the little girls and at their mother. You had 2 more mini Kushinas? Naruto giggled. We 3 have perfected our pranking skills. Sarutobi paled as he looked at them. Naruto, before you left you had rained heel down on the Anbu and INT offices. I had Rainbow Anbu running around for a couple of days. Yeah, that was funny, and Ibki did look good with that bright red clown's wig glued to his head, said Naruto as she giggled. Ryoko, Kyoko, and Naruto, you 3 are to try to not prank Ibki for a while, said Tsunade with a growl in her voice. Sarutobi looked at everyone and smiled. Within the coming days I will announce my retirement and who my successor will be. To this the whole village grew quiet. A spies Orochimaru had stationed in the villages looked on in shock. I need to report this new development to Lord Orochimaru-sama, thought a silver-hair glasses-wearing young man. After the last announcement the crowd went home and on with this business. Many eyes had been opened tonight. Many felt remorse and regret for what they had done to Naruto in her early years in life, and others didn't know what to think about it. Sarutobi, Gigi, is it okay we go home? Asked Naruto. With a smile he nodded his head. Jiraiya and I have been preparing the Senju clan home for the past 3 months for your return. So, there is everything you all will need, and in the morning come to the tower and we will talk about all you have learned while away and set all 4 of you up in the graduating genie class in the afternoon. Sounds good, Gigi. Good night, said Naruto. Ryoko just waved at the old man as she held onto her Naruto. The group all walked to the Senju clan home. This place could use a few cars, stated Tony. Nah, it's too beautiful here to mess up. Haven't you noticed all the trees? Asked Naruto. Hinata had found her father and sister after leaving the tower. Father, Hanabi, I have missed you both. They had noticed right away that their Hinata wasn't stuttering anymore and carried herself with confidence. The elders from the clan saw this. Give us time and we will bring back our old pawn, they thought. Shikamaru walked up to his parents. Hey mom and dad. His mom took him into a tight hug. Never do that to me again. You hear me, Shika? His mother was in tears. I'm sorry mom, I didn't mean to be too troublesome. But dad thought it would be a good learning experience for me, said Shikamaru. But, can we go home? I'm tried. I had a long day and I know you will have me up early for tomorrow's meeting with the Hokage. I want you to come with us mom. I want you to hear all we have learned in the past 6 years. His mother smiled and beamed with pride. Shikaku had noticed something about his son. Something was different about him. Back with the others, I kind of like this clean and fresh air. But, do you guys have indoor plumbing? Asked Deadpool. Everyone had sweat drop to his question. Yes, we pretty much have everything you do. But, for the internet, cars, planes and farming equipment. Maybe a few other things. Not sure, said Naruto. Tony and Banner looked at each other. As Thor smiled. It is like Asgard. They had arrived to the new home and they made their way inside and saw how huge the place was. My grandfather built this place using his wood-style jutsu, said Tsunade. Wow, Ba-chan, this place is huge, said Naruto. The others nodded as well. Come on, let's get settled in, said Jiraiya. It's been a long day and we have to return to the tower at 7. Come on, I'll show you to your rooms, said Tsunade. Mommy, can we stay with Naruto tonight? Said Ryoko. Yeah, mommy, can we? Said Kyoko. It's up to Naru if you do or not, said Tsunade. The twins looked up at Naruto. Sure, but no hogging the bed. Both twins smiled and nodded their heads. Shizune and Tsunade showed everyone their rooms and put the 3 teens and twins in one large room for the night. Till they can set them up in their own rooms and go shopping. Okay, you 5. You'll be staying in this room just for tonight and tomorrow we can get to work picking out rooms and decorating them, said Tsunade. Thank you for your kindness, Lady Tsunade, said Lee as he bowed to her. She sweat dripped at the young man. Lee, just call me Ba-chan. She smiled at him. He quickly nodded his head and smiled. Thank you, Ba-chan. Sakurai smiled. Thank you, Ba-chan. I am truly grateful. I did like living with Ino and her family. But, it feels more like home with everyone here. Naruto smiled and hugged her. You're my sister no matter what. If you want we can do the paperwork of adopting you and Lee, said Naruto. If that is what you kids want I would be glad and honored to give you my clan name. As well, Naruto already has you adding her name to everything, said Tsunade. The 2 teens before her nodded their heads, for they were lost for words. Tears streamed down Lee's cheeks and hugged his Ba-chan. Sakurai had tears as well and hugged Naruto, who was still holding Ryoko. Both twins grinned and looked at each other. That makes us your aunties, said Kyoko. Now, you have to call us auntie when you say our names, said Ryoko. Tsunade just laughed at her daughter's antics. I swear Wade has been influencing them too much, thought Tsunade. Everyone had settled in for the night. They awake bright and early with the sun to find that Lord Odin had Heimdall delivery some housewarming gifts for them all during the night. Lady Naruto, are you ready to face a new day? Asked Thor. Naruto smiled at her uncle. I guess I am as ready as I can be. There really isn't much more I am able to do. Everyone nodded and ate breakfast and got ready to leave. Outside of the Senju estate stood Anbu Neko, Inu, Tortoise, and Raven. They had come to escort everyone to the Hokage tower, hidden in a snake hole. Orochimaru and Danzo received word that Naruto and Tsunade had returned with some strange-looking people. That the 3rd Hokage was going to retire and that the elders and civilian council had been sentenced to death. But, it wasn't going to happen until the new Hokage was named. It appears everything is changing within the village. I will not have my spies within the council no more, thought Danzo. So Sensei is retiring once more. I wonder who he will appoint, stated Orochimaru. I do not know. This is very troubling, Orochimaru-sama. We will no longer have our spies in the council, said Danzo as he looked over at the snake Sanin. That matters not to me. All that matters is that the Tsunade doesn't back out," said Orochimaru. He burnt the message and disappeared into the shadows of his ungrounded village. Shortly after, screams could be heard throughout the tunnels. "I must make my move soon. This arrangement is no longer suiting my plans," thought Danzo. The old war hawk walked down the opposite tunnel to find the commanders of his route to inform them that in a moment notice they would be gone. Hokage Tower. The large group walked into Sarutobi's office. "So, old man, what do you want to know?" said Naruto as she grinned at him. The aged leader just laughed at her antics. "My dear girl, you do not know how much I missed that." He had a large smile across his lips. "Troublesome blonde," said Shikamaru, as he sighed and shook his head. Yoshino Nara looked at the blonde girl with wide eyes. "Naruto, that is disrespectful to address the Hokage that way." "It is fine, Yoshino. Naruto is like a granddaughter to me and I wouldn't have it any other way. Anyways, when I appoint the next Hokage, she will address them alike most likely," said the third Hokage. Naruto just grinned looking at Shikamaru's mom. "I have never been one for proper etiquette. It drove my other Ba-chan crazy in Asgard. Mother did have a dreadful time trying to teach Naruto proper etiquette. She always told her that her actions were not of a proper lady of court," said Thor. "I know. I always told her I am a warrior. I am not suited to sit around like a porcelain doll," said Naruto. "But I do know how to behave around royalty and others of higher statues than my own." "That you do. Mother did enjoy her time training you. You are a princess of Asgard. Will hold high title," said Thor. Shikaku and Yoshino just listen on. They couldn't believe this girl was a princess in another world, where people of that world are like gods. Then to top it off, she was of Namikaze and Uzumaki royalty. Then she was also a princess within the Senju. This girl held many surprise. In a way, they couldn't wait to see what was to happen next. Sarutobi Sensei Jiraiya and I, along with Naruto, would like to adopt Rock Lee and Sakura Haruno," said Tsunade. Just before Lee had gone to the other world, both his parents had died in a mission gone wrong when a S-rank missing nin ambushed them on their return from a mission to Iwa. After that, Lee had been living on his own with Guide checking in on him from time to time and taking him on early as a student. When the opportunity arose to do some special training with Lady Tsunade, Guide jumped at it. He felt this would be good for the boy's soul. To have a family and feel part of something much more grand. Sakura was excited that she will have a family once more. She knew what her mom had done and she was shocked and frightened of her mother's actions. Never in her wildest dreams did she ever think her mother would take part in hurting or trying to kill a child the same age as her daughter. She had asked Naruto to forgive her, but Naruto told her it wasn't her fault and she wouldn't hold it against her for what her mother tried doing and did. Since that day, the two girls had been very close. "If that is what they both wish, I see no reason not to allow the adopt," said the third. "I want them to hold all my clan names, for they are my family and I am honored to call them my siblings," said Naruto. "Very well, but be warned, many will come for you, just for holding the Namikaze name," said the third. "We know, Lord Hokage, we are no pushover. In the last 6 years we have grown in many ways," said Sakura. "Yes, we have, Lord Hokage. Please do not worry about us," said Lee. "Very well. Tomorrow come to my office and I'll have all the paperwork ready for the adoption. But here are the forms for you to go to the Ninja Academy and take the Genin exam today. Iruka is waiting for you, everyone," said the third Hokage. He turned and looked at Lee. "Lee, you will be given a different exam for how you do not have chakra, and there has been a request that you will join Team Guy." One of his students quiet, for they were unable to handle his training regiment and called him a madman. Lee smiled. Guy-sensei only wishes to make others stronger in his youthful ways. Everyone paled when they heard Lee say that. "Dear Kami, I hope Guy doesn't try to make a mini Guy out of this boy," thought the third Hokage. He handed the form over to the 5 Genin hopefuls. "You are to report to Iruka as of this moment." All 5 kids nodded their heads and vanished in several different body flickers. Naruto vanished in a lightning flicker, as for Sakura in a swirl of sakura blooms. Hinata vanished in a swirl of water. Shikamaru in a shadow. And most shocking of all, Lee vanished in a swirl of leaves. Which made the old leader drop his pipe from his mouth and look at the others in shock. Where Tsunade just grinned at him and sat down. In front of the academy all 5 appeared and grinned looking at each other. They had made it in time. For everyone was still outside. Well, what do you think? Should we just go straight to class or hang out? Asked Naruto. Let's just go to class. It will be less troublesome, said Shikamaru with a sigh. They all nodded and looked at their forms. It says we are to go to class 213, said Sakura. They walked up to the academy doors and noticed that other students had saw them all. Naruto just grinned as she opened the door and the others followed behind her. After going up one flight of stairs they had found room 213. Sliding the door open they saw 2 men going over some paper down at the bottom of the stairs in the classroom. They walked in sliding the door shut and made their way to the 2 men. I received word this morning from the Hokage we are to get 5 new students today for the Genin exam. He said something about them off being privately trained for a few years. Said the man with scar on his face to the silver hair man. That's correct. We have been gone for a while, said Naruto with a grin on her face. Both men looked up at blonde that stood before them. Who are you? Asked the silver hair man. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Senju. There is more to my name but it's too long and I don't feel like explaining it, said Naruto. This is the Kyūbi brat, thought the silver hair man. I am Sakura Haruno Uzumaki Namikaze Senju, said Sakura. I am Hinata Hyuga, said Hinata. With a sigh and a lazy look in his eyes he spoke. I am Shikamaru Nara. I am Rock Lee Uzumaki Namikaze Senju. Please call me Lee, said Lee. Just then they heard the other students coming into the classroom. It is a pleasure to meet all 5 of you. I will be your teacher during this exam. I am Iruka and next to me is Mizuki, said Iruka. This will be a very interesting day, thought Iruka. Please wait right here. I will have you 5 introduce yourselves after everyone is seated. Just before the door was going to close by the last student a gloved hand stopped it and a masked man poked his head into the classroom and looked around. I found them, he said as he walked into the room followed by 6 other people. Iruka looked up at the newcomers. Was going to speak when Naruto beat him to it. What are you all doing here? Asked Naruto. Well, the old man was getting annoyed with me and said I could go watch you take your exam and the others came with, said Deadpool. Naruto grinned. Uncle Wade, you know you will have to be quiet while we take it, right? She raised an eyebrow looking at him. The others just laughed. Sure, I'll be good, said Deadpool. Naruto turned to her 2 teachers. Forgive the intrusion by our uncles and aunt. Mostly from our Uncle Wade. That is all right, Naruto, said Iruka. All right class, we have 5 new students joining us today. I would like you all to give them a warm welcome. Please introduce yourselves to the class. Naruto stepped forth. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Senju. I am the daughter of Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze and Minato Namikaze, as well as the granddaughter of Tsunade Senju and Jiraiya as well as Odin and Gia of Asgard. I am 15 years old and I'm glad to return and be back to my home, said Naruto. Everyone grew quiet from her interdiction. Iruka just smiled. Thank you, Naruto. Next, Naruto bowed and grinned at Hinata. Hinata stepped forward. I am Hinata Hyuga, the heiress of the Hyuga clan. It is a pleasure to return back here after 6 long years, said Hinata as she bowed and stepped back. How troublesome, said the boy next to Hinata. He stepped forward and with a sigh he spoke. I am Shikamaru Nara and clan heir. It's too troublesome to go into detail, said Shikamaru as he stepped back. Next was another boy with weird eyebrows. Hi, my name is Lee. Rock Lee Uzumaki Namikaze Senju. Brother to Naruto. It is a pleasure to meet you all, said Lee as he grinned and winked at Sakura. A girl with long pink hair stepped forward. Hello, my name is Sakura Uzumaki Namikaze Senju. It is a pleasure to meet everyone. She bowed. Naruto looked at her friend and sister. She was shocked that Sakura dropped her last name Haruno. Both girls looked at each other and Sakura just smiled. I'll ask her when we get home, thought Naruto. Iruka just smiled. Alright you 5, there are free sets in the back next to your uncles and aunt. All 5 kids nodded their heads and quickly walked up to their seats. Deadpool grinned at the kids. I'm proud of all 5 of you. Thanks Uncle Wade, said Sakura. Now class, the exam is broken up in several parts. The first one is the written exam. After the written exam we go outside to test and score you in throwing accuracy with kunai and shuriken. third part is Tai Justice, and finally after that we return to the classroom to test you on clones, henge, and replacement jutsu. After that we score everything and give you your headbands making you genin of the leaf, and the next day you return we announce teams and Jonin senseis. Explained Iruka. Naruto being herself played the part of the fool. She had paled and made a face. The other four just snickered and giggled at her. They know what her game was. Really, Iruka-sensei? No one told me we had to do a written exam. Whined Naruto. Others in the class just laughed and the last Uchida just had a grin on his face. I knew why my clan is better than hers. Thought Sasuke. Now Naruto, I believe the Hokage informed you about the written part last night. Said Iruka-sensei. She looked at him puzzled and tilted her head to the side. No, I don't believe so. But, I wasn't listening. I was playing a game with Uncle Wade at the time. Iruka's sweat dropped and looked at the blonde girl. You should have listened. Well done, Kit. Make them believe you're a moron. Said Kurama. Thanks, Kurama. Anyways, they don't need to know everything I am able to do. As well, the guy next to Iruka-sensei is giving me a bad feeling. I don't think he likes us very much. Said Naruto to Kurama in her mind. Tony and Steve watched on and saw the looks that Mizuki was giving Naruto. They looked at each other and nodded their heads. Tony and Steve shared a knowing looks. That one called Mizuki wanted nothing to do with their niece and he was going out of his way to make it known. Sadly, the other teacher never catching on. Maybe it was due to his pure heart to not see the bad in others. Maybe he was just a fool. Who knows? Mizuki went around handing out the exams. He grinned as he drew close to Naruto. He had placed a genjutsu on her exam as he placed it before her and handed the others their exams. Now that demon bitch will never know what hit her. Maybe I can use her for my plan for Lord Orochimaru. Thought Mizuki as he went back down to sit next to Iruka. Deadpool stood up and walked down to the two teachers. Hey, do you think I could get a copy of that exam? Asked Deadpool. Iruka looked up at him smiling. Sure. Why would you want a copy? Well, you see, I will be taking these exams to become a ninja myself. I will be serving the Hokage. Said Deadpool as he grinned. If you wish I could give you the genin exam. Said Iruka. The poor man was at odds with this strange masked man. Nah, Tsunade has a different test plan for me. Said Deadpool as he took the exam and walked back with the others. Tony and Banner walked up to him to see what was on the exam. They noticed quickly it was different from the one Naruto had. The girl was looking up at them and saw their expressions and knew something was wrong with her exam. Hey Kurama, she thought. Yeah, kid, what's up? Asked Kurama. Are you able to tell if there is a genjutsu on this? I'm still having trouble detecting little genjutsus. Said Naruto. Yeah, there is one. You should dispel it, or would you like me to do it? Kurama asked. It might be best you do it. I still go a little overboard dispelling genjutsus. Said Naruto as she closed her eyes and reopened them. If one was looking they would have seen crimson red eyes with slits pulps. With Kurama's sight she saw the genjutsu and sighed. Ki, whispered Naruto. After breaking the jutsu the exam was totally different and much more easier. She quickly changed her answers and finished her exam in no time. Well, it appears she caught on that something was wrong with her exam. Said Deadpool as he grinned looking up at the others. I think we should have a word with Mizuki after everyone finishes with the exam overall. Said Tony as he looked down at Mizuki from behind his sunglasses. Shino watched the strangers and even his bugs had gone and checked them out. When one returned it told Shino that they had chakra networks but they didn't reply on it. Shino just raised an eyebrow and looked down at his exam. There are others out there that are powerful and do not relay on chakra. The one with the hammer has a strange energy coming off of him and that weapon. It's like the hammer is alive. He thought to himself. Choji looked up at his best friend. It had been weird not having Shikamaru around for the past few years. Man, Shikamaru, you have missed a lot during your time away. I wish I was brave enough to have asked to go with you. He thought to himself. Sasuke glared at Naruto. That loser hasn't changed much. She's still the same. I wonder how she suckered Tsunade into allowing her to take her name as well as the fourth. Oh, well, I'll prove to her during the taijutsu part of the exam I am the elite and she'll have to bow to me. He thought as he smirked. What the hell did I see in Sasuke when I was younger? Thought Sakura as she looked down at him. She didn't really care for how he glared at Naruto. Man, I'm so glad I'm over him. She looked at Rock Lee and smiled. Lee looked up and smiled. I can't believe I'm going to be on my old sensei's team. I missed Guy Sensei, he thought to himself as he turned his test over and put his pencil down. Elsewhere at an unknown training ground. Well, my precious students, we will have a new member on the team tomorrow. It is sad that Hiro had vanished and only left a note stating he didn't wish to be a ninja no more, said Guy as he frowned looking at his two students. Well, Guy Sensei, you do work is pretty hard. Maybe he couldn't handle it, said a girl with brown hair up in two buns that looked like panda ears. Well, 10-10 destiny didn't favor him for our team, said a boy with pearl white eyes and long black hair to the now named girl. Well, Neji and 10-10. Tomorrow we welcome Rock Lee to our team. At this very moment he is taking his Genin exam and I'm sure he'll pass with flying colors. For he has a strong youthful spirit and is driven by the power of youth, said Guy. His now named two students just look at him and back at each other. They felt sorry for their new teammate. Back at the academy. Okay everyone, time is up, said Ruka as he went around and picked up the exam. I'll take a few minutes and grade your exams and after that we head outside for the taijutsu and weapons part of the exam. He told everyone as he went back to his desk and went to work. Uruka, I could grade them for you, said Mizuki as he smiled. No, it's fine Mizuki, I got it, said Uruka. I just have this off feeling I shouldn't trust him around the new arrives. Mostly around Naruto. I noticed how her uncles and aunt keep looking at him. He thought to himself as he tried to smile at the silver-haired man. Smiling back, Mizuki turned back to look at the class. Damn it, what the hell is his problem? He asked himself in thought. Naruto yawned as she put her head down on the desk. What's up, kiddo? Asked Deadpool as he sat down on her desk. Nothing, I'm just bored. Uncle Fury had more challenging exams for us. This was really nothing too hard, said Naruto as she sat up smiling at her uncle. Really, you almost failed the exam due to that genjutsu you didn't see, said Deadpool as he raised his eyebrow at her and took on a more serious expression on his face. So if I was you I wouldn't be too full of myself, he told her and patted her on the head. She raised her arms, batting his hand away from her head. I guess you're right. I'll do my best, she told him with a sigh. Good, but sadly before this day is done I'm going to be hunting a rascally silver-haired jackass, said Deadpool sounding like Elmer Fudd and giggling really weird. Naruto couldn't help but bust out laughing at his antics. Everyone in the classroom turned around to see what Naruto was laughing at, to see Deadpool dressed in a brown jacket with baggy brown pants and a weird brown hat with red on its sides and holding an odd stick with metal tubes. He looked at everyone and grinned. Shush, I'm hunting rascally jackasses, he told everyone. The whole class just sweat dropped as Naruto, Lee, Shikamaru, and Sakura laugh. Tony and Steve just grin. Clint smiled and shook his head and Natasha walks up to him and places her head on his shoulder. Make sure you get him between the eyes, she told Deadpool. Wade, best of wishes on this hunt of yours. May the gods make your aim true, said Thor. Just then a shiver ran down Mizuki's spine. What the hell was that? He thought to himself as he looked on at the costumed weird with the little demon bitch. Soon, I'll have what I want and no one will stop me from getting the ultimate power. A twisted grin crossed Mizuki's faces, almost allowing his thoughts to be read. Elsewhere, Tsunade looks lost in thought. Will I be able to do this? Do I really want to do this? She thought to herself. You'll do fine, dear. Don't worry so much, said Jiraiya as he placed a hand on her shoulder trying to reassure his love. Or you could spend your days chasing after the twins when they want to follow Naruto around while she does her D-rank missions, he told her. That thought alone made her pale. She looked up at her husband, her honey brown eyes wide as saucers as she stared up at him. The twins will rain down terror this village has never seen before. No thanks to what they have learned from Naruto and Wade in pranking. I have a feeling Fury is glad we are gone, said Tsunade as she took the small locket around her neck and opened it. She looked down at a picture of Naruto with Ryoko and Kyoko. Back in New York, Fury looks out his office window to see soldiers and other SHIELD agents moving around outside his office. It's been too quiet around here. But I don't miss the day prank war those four rained down on us. Half my men feared twin little girls and a blonde teenage girl. It's pitiful, thought Fury. Just then Agent Collins walks in. Sir, I wanted to ask how long the Avengers will be gone. Fury looked up at him. They will be gone for about a month. But we have the others to handle anything that happens. Agent Collins nods his head. It is quiet without them here. I kind of miss the chaos, he said as he turned to leave the office. It sure is, said Fury going back to his paperwork. Back in the Konoha, Iruka looked over the exams and smiled. Everyone did well as the new students. They scored highest on the exam. I wonder what all they had been taught while they've been away all these years. He thought to himself. All right class, let's head outside. He told them all as he gathered up the exams and sealed them in a scroll and slipped them in his pocket. Mizuki watched this all enraged. He had no way of seeing who did well, or was he able to change Sasuke's grade if he scored lower than anyone else in the class. Damn you Iruka, he thought as he followed the others outside. They all went to the training field behind the academy and stood before a taijutsu ring. Alright class, this will be your taijutsu exam. I will allow you to choose your opponent or I will assign one to you. Sasuke, being the arrogant bastard, stepped forth and looked at Naruto. I challenge Naruto, said Sasuke as he walked into the ring. Iruka raised an eyebrow to this. It was rare for male students to fight any of the female students. But even more rare for Sasuke to say who he wishes to fight. He brushed it off and wrote down both names. Naruto looked up at who wanted to fight her. Really? Right off the back I have to fight the Teme? She asked as she walked to the ring and stood before Sasuke. Alright, you two. This will be only a taijutsu match. You will not be allowed to use any genjutsus, ninjutsus, or any character-enhanced strikes, said Iruka. Alright, begin. Off to the sidelines, Deadpool pulled out his wallet and grinned. Hey Thor, want to place a bet on who will win this little match? He asked. Thor looked at him and smiled. I would be a fool to bet against Naruto. She is one of the best hand-to-hand fights of Asgard. She will bring honor to her family by beating the boy with hair that looks like a duck's behind, he said as he watched the fight between the two teens with pride. Man, you're no fun, cried Deadpool as tears steamed down his cheeks. Troublesome nutcase, troublesome blondes. Just watch the match. You don't always have to place a bet on all her fights, said Shikamaru as he sighed and shook his head. Choji had came up and stood next to his best friend. Is she as good as those two are going on, Abel? He asked, looking for answers from his best friend. Yeah, she is pretty good. She had defeated the Warriors 3 of Asgard. They are the 3 warriors that followed Thor into battle. The girl on that team was very proud of Naruto, but her ego and pride was bruised. For the last one to beat her so bad was Naruto's mom and as well as Odin, said Shikamaru as he kept his eyes on the fight match before him. Choji just looked at his best friend and then to the blonde girl and over to the man he heard answer to the name of Thor. Man, this will be insane if she bets Sasuke. He is going to have a fit, he said as he saw Naruto backhand Sasuke, sending him across the ring. He was barely able to stop himself before sliding out. Come on Sasuke-kun, you can bet that girl. She has nothing on you Sasuke-kun, shouted all the fangirls. Naruto looked over at all the girls cheering on her opponent and smiled at them. She then turned back to him. They really think you're the top dog here? She asked him. He glared at her as he wiped the blood from the side of his mouth. They know their place and who they are to bow to, he told her as he rushed at her once more, jumping up and doing a roundhouse kick in midair. Naruto raised her right arm to block. As she blocked his kick, she leaned back and did a backflip kick, hitting him on the chin. Well, it appears they need to wake up from being fangirls and take being a shinobi seriously, she told him as she dropped to the ground doing the spits and doing a quick leg sweep, spinning back up to her feet as she missed him this time around. But Sasuke took the open and hit her with a right uppercut, knocking her back to the ground. You would do well if you learnt your place, said Sasuke as he got ready to do a spin kick as Naruto jumped back up to her feet. She grinned at him and caught his leg in her hands and quickly twisted it, making him spin and hit the ground hard. Sorry to tell you, Teme. When it comes to you, I will never see you as my better. So you best get used to it, said Naruto as she followed up with an axe kick to his back, knocking all the wind out of him. Slowly she stood back up as she looked down at Sasuke. It appears Naruto is the winner, said Iruka as he moved to check on Sasuke. Iruka-sensei, he is just knocked out. He should be fine shortly, said Naruto as she bowed and went back to her little group. Well Naruto, it appears we need to get you back in the ring. You should have finished him off sooner, said Deadpool. Everyone looked at him in shock. He was one that did enjoy toying with the enemy and dragging things out. Sorry Uncle Wade, but I was just trying to prove a point and have a lovely little chat with the Teme, said Naruto as she looked at him with a sheepish smile. What the others didn't know was he was hard on her when it came to training and battle. He had ran her to the ground more than a few times in training. That she was always glad to train with the others while he was on assignment or busy looming for Francis. I'll make it quicker the next time around, she told him as she turned to watch as Sasuke slowly went to stand up. He glared at the blonde girl. No one has ever beaten him before. Before he could say or attack Naruto, Iruka spoke up. Okay class, who's next? He asked. A purple-haired girl with pink eyes glared at Naruto. Me sensei, I would like to go up against Naruto, said the girl. Rei, are you sure? Naruto has just finished her spar with Sasuke, he told the now-named girl. Before anyone could say anything, Naruto walked back into the ring. It's fine Iruka-sensei, I'll face her, said Naruto as she stood ready. How dare that bitch hurt my Sasuke-kun. I'll show her and maybe then he'll go out with me, thought Rei as she rushed Naruto. But before anyone knew what happened, Naruto jumped up into the air and delivered an axe kick down onto Rei's left shoulder. This knocked her down hard into the dirt, and as she came down, she hit her head on the ground, knocking herself out cold. Winner Naruto. Alright class, no more wanting to fight Naruto, said Iruka-sensei as he wrote down the girls' grades. Naruto stood and went back to her friends and family as a medic nin took the girl. Now that was better. You should have finished your first fight like that one, said Deadpool as everyone else deadpan looking at him. Alright, but that was my last match for today. So, tonight we sparing Uncle Wade? Asked Naruto as she stood next to him. Yes, we are, he told her. The other matches went by pretty quick, especially the ones with Sakura, Hinata, Lee, and Shikamaru. His fight had all that knew him shocked. He quickly took care of his opponent and didn't complain or forfeit. All right class, time for the next part of the exam, weapons, said Iruka-sensei. This here got the adults' attention, for they spent a lot of time and energy making sure their kids knew how to use any weapon under the sun and then some. Iruka went down the list, and when he got to Hinata he smiled. Alright Hinata, would you please help me use accuracy with the kunai and shuriken? If there are any old weapons, please let me know after you finish with those two first, he told her. Yes, sensei, said Hinata as she pulled out 10 kunai and threw them at the target, getting a 10 out of 10. She did the same with the shuriken as well. Sensei, I am trained with the long bow, crossbow, compact bow, swords, daggers, short blades, several types of guns, warhammer, whips, chain kunai, and many other weapons. Do you wish for me to demonstrate with any of them? She asked as the others looked on with shock. Iruka wasn't sure what to say. It was rare to have a weapons master. The only one in the village was a student that belonged to Guy, her name being 1010, and she is the village's weapons mistress. I would be at a disadvantage at grading you with a sword, and the bow is a samurai weapon. Maybe after we finish the exam I could find the two swords masters of the village to see your skill against them, he told her. Hi sensei, said Hinata as she bowed and went back to the group. You did well, said Thor. Thank you Uncle Thor, said Hinata as she smiled at him. Iruka got down to Shikamaru name. Alright Shikamaru, let's see what you can do, he told the Nara boy. With a yawn, Shikamaru pulled out his weapons and threw them at once. His aim was perfect. He got a 10 out of 10 on both weapons. I know the same weapons as Hinata, for we were all trained together, he told Iruka. You did well, and the same goes for you as well. I want to see how well you fare while a sword and bow, said Iruka as he wrote something down and went on with his list of names. Lee stepped forth. I guess it's my turn? He asked. Yes, it is Lee. Lee pretty much did the same as his friends. This shocked Iruka. In all his years he had never seen anything like this. I take it Lee, you have the same weapons training. Hi sensei, and I will stay with my friends after class, said Lee as he ran over to Sakura, hugging her. She also did as well as the others, but she kept secret that she knew other weapons. But she saw the knowing look Iruka had and knew she was going to have to stay as well. Being trained with Clint was a long and hard. He made sure they could hit the eye of the sawing needle form at distance, and anything close range was easy for them. Even Thor was the same way, telling them they had to be able to defend themselves with any type of weapon and to overcome their weaknesses with that weapon, so to never give the enemy an opening to strike them down without mercy. Sasuke was up and he did fairly well. He got a 8/10 with kunai and 9/10 with shuriken. Beat that dope, he said to Naruto. Short Teme, said Naruto as she took out her kunai. She also pulled out a set of throwing knives and held them with her kunai and throw them. She got a 10 out of 10. Then she pulled out her shuriken and throw them, get a 10 out of 10. But no, she wasn't done there. She pulled out a scroll and opened it, unsealing several throwing axes. Taking 2 of them, she throw them, hitting her target dead on. She smiled and looked at Sasuke. How was that? She asked him. He crossed his arms and looked away. You did well, Naruto, said Iruka as he looked at the blonde before him in shock. Mizuki on the other hand paled at the sight of her. This demon has been allowed to grow too powerful, he thought to himself. The rest of the class finished and Naruto had retrieved her weapons and resealed her axes. Alright class, time to go back inside and finish the exam, said Iruka as everyone followed him inside. Once back in the classroom, Iruka stood before the class. This is the final part of the exam, the ninjutsu part, he told them. He called name after name and they vanished into another room. If they passed, they returned with the leaf headband, and if they failed, they left to only return in several months to try again. It was finally Naruto's turn. She walked down the steps and passed the open door to another classroom. Once inside, she stood before Iruka and Mizuki. Okay Naruto, you will need to do 3 ninjutsu to pass. 1. Clone jutsu. 2. Substitution. 3. Henge, said Mizuki. Okay, I got it, said Naruto. Shadow clone jutsu, said Naruto as 2 clones appeared next to her. Naruto, why are you using a Jonin level jutsu? Asked Iruka. I am unable to use a normal clone, for my chakra levels are way too high to form a normal looking clone, said Naruto. So, the Hokage told me it was fine to us my shadow clone for the exam. She finished yelling both men. Okay, I did get a note about that, said Iruka as he wrote something down. Next Naruto henge into Tsunade, Jiraiya and the third. After that she substituted herself with Deadpool, Thor and Banner. As she ran back into the room. Well Naruto, you passed, said Iruka as he smiled at her. Damn it, I'll have to find another scapegoat for my plans, thought Mizuki as he tried his best to smile at the blonde girl. I knew you could do it, princess. How about we go for ice cream after this? Said Deadpool. Yay, ice cream, shouted Naruto as she jumped into her uncle's arms. They walked back into the classroom so Ino could go and finish her exam. As they went back to where they'd been sitting, Naruto couldn't help but beam. I can't believe it, I'm a true ninja now. Wait till Gigi Odin hears this, as well as Uncle Fury. Wait, that means I won the bet with Uncle Fury, said Naruto as she sat down grinning, putting on her headband over her forehead. Just then Ino returned and follow behind her was Iruka and Mizuki. I'd like to congratulate all of you who have passed today. You are now proud shinobi of the leaf, and with that I do hope you all do your best. As well, tomorrow you are to return back here for your team placement, as well to find out who your Jonin senseis will be. But Rock Lee, you are to meet your new team at Training Grounds 9 tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. With that said, class is dismissed. Naruto and the others stayed behind as the others left. But, surprisingly, so did Choji, Shino, Kiba, Ino, Sasuke. They wanted to see what these 5 could do. Also, they are their future teammates. Clan children mostly always got teamed with other shinobi children. Iruka-sensei, I don't think Neko has the time to test use on how well we handle swords, said Naruto. I am sure I will be able to find someone, said Iruka. Just then Deadpool stood up. Come on kiddies, let's go show him what I have taught you. I was their main sensei when it came to learning how to use a sword. Everyone could see in Deadpool's eyes he was itching for a fight. He wanted to show off a little to the others in the classroom. Hey Scarface, you got anywhere bigger than that training field out back that we can have out little match? Asked Deadpool as he grinned at Iruka. Iruka's eyes widened at how he was addressed, as well as surprised they would need a larger battlefield. Yes, there is the arena down the way. I could get permission so we are able to use it, he told the masked man. Alrighty, then you go do that and we'll meet you there. I'm sure one of these guys here would be happy to show us the way, said Deadpool as he pointed to Kiba and Choji. Yeah man, we can show you the way there, said Kiba as he looked at Akamaru and smiled. Hey boy, go tell mom and sis. I'm sure they would love to see this. He told the puppy as he jumped off his partner's head and barked before darting off to find the alphas of the pack. Shine had the same thoughts and sent some of his bugs to tell his father. The group left the academy as Iruka ran to the Hokage's tower to get permission to us the arena to further test his 5 new ex-students. So, are you guys ready for a beatdown? Asked Deadpool as he grinned at Narita and the others. No, cuz you never said we couldn't take you on all at once. So if we all go at you, I'm sure we'll kick your ass. Said Naruto. Ah, Naruto, that isn't far and is kind mean of us to do to him. Said Lee. With a heavy sigh, Shikamaru shook his head. Yeah, it might be unfair. But we are ninjas and we have to use every advantage we have against the enemy. This way we have a better chance of taking him down. He told Lee. He is right, Lee, this is the only way we can take him on in a fair fight. Even though he fights dirtier than any ninja we know of. Said Sakura. Hint smiled and linked arms with Naruto and Sakura. Let us do our best and wipe the floor with him. She said to the others. Their other friends they hadn't seen in a while were all shocked with how Hinata wasn't so shy and how vicious she sounded at the last part. It is best they take him at once. But, after you're done with him you will face me next with your ninjutsus along with Dr. Banner. Said Thor. Word began to sweep like wildfire across the village there was going to be a match between the newcomers and the returning genin. People began showing up at the arena to watch what was going to happen. Even the jonin that going to take on some of these new genin had shown up to see what their future students were made of. Even Kakashi for once was early. Also, it didn't help he ran into Guy and his team as Azuna appeared to let them know what was happening. Guy had grabbed hold of Kakashi and dragged him to the arena like a rag doll. When the group arrived they were shocked to see all these people there. Well, I guess I get to put on a little show. Said Deadpool when he appeared in an opera sing's dress. Everyone just sweat drop at the sight of him. That's all for my now. If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments.